This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. Welcome to X&C Podcasts. I am Colteastwood, and I didn't ramp up anything, but I'm pretty happy to say that we are at episode 200, and Mag has been here for half of this show. It's insane. I was looking back, and Mag has been here in March. He was here 2 years. I think so, if I'm doing the math right. Yeah. It's crazy. And every Monday we sit here and do the news, and you guys are all here to support what we do. We really appreciate it. This is the 200th episode. I've been doing this show for 4 years on May 10th, 2021, a year after COVID started. And yeah, it's crazy. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy to be here with Mag. We were talking, we were kind of delaying the show. We were catching up because we've been super busy. But other than us being busy, how's life, Mag?
It has been incredibly busy. Listen, I may sound a little funny tonight. I'm just going to tell everybody right away. I had some dental surgery about 2 hours ago, so my mouth is still a little frozen on the right side, so I might say a couple of words a little funny, but I look fine. There's no swelling or anything else like that, but occasionally I may say a word that sounds a little stupid, or I might even talk slower. And by slower, I mean I talk like a normal human being when my mouth is frozen. But either way, 98 degrees. We're here for...
Do you remember Sewing with Nancy from the 80s? She was on public television. She was a sewing personality, and she talked like
that. Might be something local to you.
It could be something just in the
some
States.
Lady in your neighborhood. Yeah.
I think
on local cable television.
My friend and I, when we were teenage or before teenage, we would make fun of it. But I think she might have been a victim of a stroke. But she ran this really successful sewing show. And of course, as 13-year-olds, we didn't care about sewing. But are you gonna be okay, bro? Or are you gonna? Does it hurt?
Well, of course, I'm gonna be fine. Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't hurt. I don't feel anything. But the problem is, I can't feel my face. Right here, this whole thing is frozen. So some of the words I say, I may flub on the words a little bit. So and like I said, I may talk a little bit slower just because I'm trying to get the feeling back in my face. Maverick, I saw what you said. Just because I'm not high, by the way. They didn't make me high. They just froze me. So they put they put the gel in first, and then they put 3 or 4 needles in there after you're done, so you don't even feel the needles. So, but it's awesome, because you don't even feel the needles. But then I'm sitting there watching TV because they got a TV right above the the dentist chair. So I'm sitting there watching TV up above, and it's America's Worst Cook or some stupid show like that. And then all of a sudden I'm like, all right, this is the worst part.
They have a TV in the room where you're getting your work done?
All the rooms in the dentist's office, they have big 60-inch TVs on the ceiling right above you. So when they lean the chair back and they raise you up and the dentist is doing his thing, you could sit there with the watch. You could watch the TV right above you, on the ceiling with headphones on. They give you headphones. Yeah, so you just sit there and watch stupid shows like I said, the America's Worst Cook. That's what I watched for an hour and a half today. So I was just I'm sitting there and I'm just yeah. But either way, we're not here to talk about that. We're not here to talk about my teeth or my frozen face or how people don't know how to cook scallops.
Happy Bomb says, Cole almost punched the dentist when they tried to numb his mouth. I went in for a really deep cavity 15 years ago, and they numbed me up, but it didn't take, and he started, and I felt it dig into my tooth, and I put my hand up this, and he's like, whoa, this thing's going 9 billion RPMs, and it would have went around my face. I would have looked even better. Yeah. But we appreciate everybody being here.
We're here for games, Colt.
We're here for games.
We're here for video games.
I finished Doom: The Dark Ages.
Did you know?
Almost a week ago. I think I finished it Tuesday, and then Wednesday I made the review. So it's been almost a week, and I've been paddling around on stuff and not really settling in on what I want to play. I did pick up Star Wars Outlaws on PC, and I was starting it over and doing the opening parts. I'm like, I already I think I put 10 hours in it on Xbox. What have you been doing? What have you been playing?
I've been doing a lot of videos on the channel, but I have been playing games too, obviously. A little bit more Expedition 33, snuck a little bit of that in there. And then, you know what's really funny? Resident Evil 2 Remake popped up in the backlog because I do all of them on both systems. I buy them on Xbox, I buy them on PlayStation, and it's my favorite series of all time. So whenever I see them on a deep sale or whatever, I just buy them relentlessly. I don't care. And so yes, I'm part of the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm part of the problem. So I started playing Resident Evil 2. I swear to God, I was just like, I'm gonna play for like 5 minutes just to like get into like the police station, and then that's it. Then I'll go back to my normal gaming. I've already done 3 run-throughs of the whole campaign. I've already done Leon twice, and I've already done Claire once, and I can't stop playing those games. At least for me, those games are literally like crack cocaine. They're just so addictive, and so like just you get in there and you're just like, and you know the funny thing is, same thing with Expedition 33. You start playing and you're like, all right, I'm just gonna get through like this one area, and then I'm just gonna whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like 4 hours later and you're still playing, right? Because like it just grabs you and just keeps you there, right? And anyways, on top of that, what else is going on? I think in about 2 weeks, maybe a week or two, I'm going to be doing my Doom review. If anybody knows what I'm doing on my channel, I do the marinated reviews where I play a game once, sit on it, go through some of it again or all of it again, depending on how long the campaign is, and then I do a review. So I'm not doing it to make it to the finish line. I'm not trying to get there by embargo dates. I take my time, I do it. Like even Skill Up released his Doom review today, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Whereas a lot of people dropped him last week. Angry Joe usually takes about a month before he gets on it. He does the same idea. And so that's where my marinated reviews kind of, the inspiration came from. So, so Doom will be coming up. And then what else we got going on? Anything coming up in the next little bit?
I actually haven't really looked what's coming up, but I was also playing through Forza Motorsport because it got its 20th anniversary update, and Turn 10's actually made the game look a little bit better, but I was playing that probably 10 hours last week, and I just got in the groove talking to friends and just hitting apexes and feeling the good feel of Forza Motorsport, even though I don't think this one is as good as the other ones. But I've been playing that as well, and I completely left Claire Expedition 33 behind after getting into the middle of Act 2, and I haven't gone back. And I got to like I set it down, and now it's hard to go back. And everyone's talking about it. I'm like, yeah. It's just another thing nagging on what I have to play. So that's basically. I don't even really know what is coming up the rest of May for game releases. And chat, you can help us out. And thank you to everybody for being here and helping us celebrate 200 episodes of talking gaming news and covering all this stuff. We appreciate you. Meg and I are excited to sit down and chat with you. We got a pretty cool super chat in here from Eternal Jedi. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat. Appreciate so much your support. Says, good evening, Colt Mag. Happy 200th episode. I've been visiting your channel here or there when I can, but like I said on Twitter, he says on X, I remember Colt's logo with the smiling face. He said today that I need to bring back the logo of me. I don't have one around here.
I remember the logo. I remember it. I remember it.
Yeah. The smiling crazy face. Thank you. He says, hey, Mag, do you have plans on going to the new Bills Stadium when it opens, the Bills?
Yeah. Oh, of course I do. No, absolutely I do. I go every year to the Bills game. They're right there. It's only a 2.5 hour drive from my house. So I just cross the border and I'm right there. But I don't think the stadium's going to be opened up this year coming. It's going to be 2026, I think, by the time they get it ready. Last time I was there, they had the cranes in there and they were like, it's so cool watching them build stadiums. I think there must have been about 35 cranes all around the stadium, and they're just dropping like these huge beams of steel. And I'm like, what are they doing? I mean, I know what they're doing. They're building a stadium, but I'm like, what are they doing with these giant beams? Like, how do they, navigate that? And where do they put it? And like, do they just build it like giant Lego and glue it and then solderize it? Or like, what are they doing? And it was just amazing to watch. Because I mean, how often do you get to
they're
sit
just dropping steel and they're like, put that over there in the corner. We might be able to make that work there in the corner. I mean, to heck with the plan sheets. Just start putting steel in there. We'll make it work.
Yeah, no kidding. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, how often do you get to see an 80,000 seat stadium being built, right? You don't. So I was there in the parking lot and I was just watching them do it. And I was like, this is so cool. But I think it's still another year and a half away, should I? So, but when I'm there, I mean, I'll be there this year, obviously, for the Bills games. And then, of course, when that new stadium opens, I will be right there, baby, taking photos and having a good time. So
apparently it takes about 250 days to build a stadium in the modern era. And there's a conspiracy going around the internet that the Yankee Stadium in the 1920s, that it took them 300 days to build it. And one of my friends was like, there's no way, that's a conspiracy. There's no way it only took them 300 days. I'm like, how could it not? Like that stadium is not like the state of the art. You know, it's just wood and steel and some grass. But I don't know. I
would imagine like a new stadium is that it would probably take a little bit longer than 200. What would you say? 250 days? The only reason why is the weather, right? If you look at something like Buffalo, where they're like Buffalo's in the snow belt and they get pounded in the wintertime, right? So I would imagine a lot of that outer structure is not going to get built in the middle of winter when it's like 6 feet of snow outside and massive snowstorms. So they probably lose so much development time right there, right? But the interior, once you get that out, developers, they need more. Wow, I almost could say that word, but like I said, my face is still frozen. Developers. Yeah. They need construction workers. I can't do it. Yeah, I can't do it. Anyways.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some video games, man. Mine's coming up.
Let's talk about Doom the Dark Ages. I put a poll up. Like, would you guys like to see gameplay? I have 45 minutes of gameplay, but 58% of you are saying yes, which wins. But it's that 42% that makes me not want to show gameplay. If people are like, I don't want to see it. Early access comes out this evening or very soon. But for everybody else, the game is out in 2 days. And I know that people are really sensitive about. Let me ask you one more time. And write it in the chat. I'll keep an eye on the chat. The footage I have for you is not entire levels. When I record gameplay for my reviews, I record 20 seconds to 40 seconds. And it's a bunch of really short clips of me engaging the enemy, killing a bunch of them, and kind of when I wipe out most of the enemies or do something cool, I hit stop on the recording. So it would be like it would be a pretty awesome montage of 40-some minutes of gameplay footage that I could have running in the corner like this is what it would look like. And if that's okay with you, I won't do that unless, I mean, if you guys really are against that, I understand. Some people won't even watch game reviews, Mag, because they don't even want to see anything.
Yeah.
They just want to see the game.
Yeah.
So
it's funny. Richard M in the chat says, "How could you spoil Doom?"
Yeah, absolutely.
You're kind of not. You're kind of not wrong. Like it's not like it's a huge involving story like Red Dead Redemption or something where it's like, well, you know what happened to Marsden next? It's like, no, I don't want to know. But like Doom is like, okay, they open the egg. Doom guy comes out. He beats the crap out of everybody. He pulls out their eyeballs, and then he goes back to the egg, and then they call him when they need him. I mean, that's pretty much Doom for you. Like, it's an old school video game.
Yeah.
No one sits there and goes, guys, no spoilers on the new Super Mario game, okay? I don't want to know what happens.
Well, I mean,
if he jumps on a turtle, I'm going to be really pissed that you said something.
A Super Mario, like a new Super Mario Brothers game, can have some pretty cool and inventive levels, but for the most part, Doom is just killing guys over and over, and I don't have any cutscenes in here at all. And it seems like there's like 4 or 5 different places you go in the game. That's it. So for those of you who checked out my review, you might know. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. What are they saying? Spoilers. Spoiler alert. Demons die. Magnum goes, how dare Colt plays Doom on PC, you traitor. That's pretty hilarious because Magnum saw that a guy tried to call me out, Mag, for playing Doom the Dark Ages and reviewing it on PC. And he goes, this guy wouldn't even play it on Xbox. And he got destroyed by everybody in the comments. Like, why wouldn't you play it on PC if you could? And guess what, buddy? I can still play it on Xbox whenever I want. Yeah.
Everything is an Xbox now, apparently. So, like, it doesn't matter where you play it. That if I reviewed it on the PS5 Pro, let's say, and I reviewed an Xbox game, would that matter to somebody? Like, would someone be that offended? Let's say it's the same as PC. It's a third-party machine. Some would, but it's a third-party machine that plays Xbox games. PC is a third-party machine that plays Xbox games. Yeah. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, mind you, there is a small difference. There's a small difference because Sony specifically owns that box. But yeah, no, but I mean, at the end of the day, if you're reviewing an Xbox game, you're reviewing the game, not the console and not the company. You're reviewing the game. So I think however you access it, shouldn't matter to anybody that actually cares about video games. And it certainly doesn't matter to anybody at Microsoft. They don't really care.
So apparently,
so
Doom...
just play it and have fun.
Yes. And apparently Doom runs slightly better on Xbox Series X because of
I heard
some problem with the patch, and I'm sure it'll get patched and it won't be that way, but I'm going to say something that some people aren't going to like, Meg. Are you ready?
Malik is calling it the Series P.
Series
yes,
P.
Sarah, go ahead. Yeah.
I played it at ultra settings with ray tracing on PC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not so sure it's going to look that different if you play it on PS5 Pro or PS5 or Xbox Series X. I mean, I was playing it native 4K with no dynamic resolution at 60. I didn't even go beyond 60 because I wanted the ray tracing there. But
yeah,
you do have some ray tracing performance mode on Xbox and PS5. So, I mean, after you're playing the game for several minutes, or you're playing the game for the 20 hours that I played it, are you going to notice the difference that you're playing on a killer PC and you're not playing on Xbox? I mean, I played on my wireless controller. Why don't you ask me a couple questions about Doom before we move on? Is there anything that you'd like to know? Does it have this? Does it do that? Does Doom guy get a sex change or whatever? Ask away.
Well, we knew that was coming, but I'm going to ask something, but I was going to address something first about the performance issue on the PlayStation side of things, because apparently right now the Series X consoles are outperforming even the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. There's some kind of an issue, as you mentioned. Yeah. And some people have reached out to me, and I said, is this going to be a problem? Where should I play it? My answer was pretty simple. I said, well, you've got two choices, really, for any of my PlayStation followers. I said, if you need to play it right now and you want that better performance, go ahead. If you have access to Game Pass, play it there. The other thing is like, well, is it worth the $70 US, the $100 Canadian, if it's not going to perform as well, or if it doesn't seem like there's a PS5 Pro enhanced mode, which it has the stamp on, it says PS5 Pro enhanced, but it seems that they're having some issue with it. I said, listen, regardless of that, this is still id Software. id Software are masters of their trade. Even within the week that a game comes out, I assured them, I said, I can assure you that they will have a patch out there ready to rock, and they will fix any problems that there are with any performance. I said, so no need to worry. I said, as for the value of it, that's entirely up to you as a consumer. If you want to pay $100 for it, Canadian, or $70 American, or you want to play it on Game Pass, however you choose to consume is entirely up to you. I can't tell you what to do with your money. I can't say spend $100 or don't spend $100 and just spend $20 in Game Pass. I'm like, whatever you want to do is entirely your choice. 509 Gaming, thank you very much for that comment. I appreciate that. He was saying that my marinated reviews are excellent, and they're not common, and that's really good. By the way, there's a missed super chat from Literal Table. You want to grab that? It was at the beginning of the show.
I do have it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
I have it like at the top because I didn't see that one.
While
we were talking. I was going to say something. Oh, I heard that the Series S.
Yeah.
I heard that the Series S version of Doom: The Dark Ages is a little bit rough, but I
don't know. I have a Series S. I should try it.
Yeah, I haven't tried it. I'm pretty sure it runs at 60, but when you're paying $300 for a console and you're getting a game that looks that cool, like, I think people would probably be okay with it if they were like, I just wanted a budget console and you're getting a 60 frames Doom game at like a lower resolution. I'm sure it's fine. I've seen many a games on the Series S, and I often don't even complain about one of the amazing things it does. And we're going to get into the Series S a little bit later about Grand Theft Auto. Is kind of funny. Literal Table, thank you so much for the Canadian $7 super chat. We appreciate you. It says, rolled the credits on Expedition 33 just a few hours ago. Now about to start Doom: The Dark Ages via early access, which is out now. Yeah, awesome.
Outstanding, dude. Outstanding. Good job on the Expedition 33. I'm sort of treating Expedition 33 like a bit of a fine wine. I'm not racing to the finish, and it's a game that you could kind of put, I mean, I know what I said earlier in the show kind of contradicts this comment, but
same
when I said that once you start it, like 5 minutes and all of a sudden 4 hours goes by. But it's the kind of game you could put down for a while, be like, all right, I'll get back to it. I'm going to go play this now, and then I'll get back to it or whatever. And you could just keep going back to it because it's not really going anywhere. You know what I mean? And so it's just there. There's a lot of meat on the bones there for that in that game. I know some people say, oh, it's just repetitive. It's just the same kind of combat over and over, but it really isn't because it's all about the interaction with the enemy because their attacks is what adds the variety to the game, right? Sometimes they do the big bum, the big bum bounce, right? And all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's right. That means I got to jump. Then I could counter. Then I could do this, right? So like it keeps it fresh in that respect. It's not just press the button, sit back, have a smoke, and then watch the fight and go on. And then you're like, oh, right, press the button again. You know what I mean? It's not that at all. So good for you, brother.
Yeah. For sure.
Let's get back to Doom, and let's. If there's any questions anybody has in the chat, put them in there. I will see them, and then I can ask Colt some of those questions too.
Yeah.
My
go ahead.
Questions.
What did you have?
id Software. This is for achievement hunters and even trophy hunters. This is my question. id Software and Bethesda specifically as a publisher are legendary for having really hard games to get 1,000 or platinum on. Does this seem like the with the achievement list that you saw because you played it on PC, Xbox? Did you see like any of the achievements? Did you even look at them? Did you even care?
I did not have access to them at all. They were completely disabled,
shut down,
and not even visible during my entire playthrough. So I don't know what the achievements are on that game, and so I would have no idea. Yeah.
Okay. Difficulty.
Hold on to difficulty.
Sure.
That blue number in the chat is asking about the music, and Mick Gordon was notoriously wronged and let go sort of from Doom and Doom Eternal, and he's amazing on a 7-string baritone guitar or whatever he plays. Amazing soundtrack, and it didn't properly compensate him or pay him. And I'm not going to get into the politics. Whatever it was, it didn't do the right thing in Bethesda. So they hired this team called Finishing Move, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the team that did the synth Goonies style music and ambient music for Grounded, which was phenomenal. Like really creepy, really cool and whimsical, like really full breath, like 2-part soundtrack for Grounded. And Finishing Move was in charge of doing this Hell's Demon Slayer soundtrack, which some of it sounded good, but when I went back and thought about my time with Doom, Mag, I'm like, there wasn't music in half the game, it seemed like. I just don't remember hearing music very often when I was playing the game, and it wasn't integral to the game, and I don't know, I think that's a major miss for me. So the music is I scored the game low on story, but the presentation thing, I'd completely forgot that the music was like not even there. So anyway, sorry, you were going to say about difficulty.
Well, that answers the question right there. That's an important one because Doom games have always been world famous for the heavy metal sound, the heavy guitar riffs, that kind of thing, that kind of drive the momentum of the mayhem that's going on the screen, right? So it kind of drives that forward, and it gets that train moving, right? And you really feel it, and you're like, yeah, and then it kind of makes you grit. It's like working out, listening to like early Metallica albums. You're doing chin-ups and you're doing things, and you're just like, yeah, listening to like the Four Horsemen because it gets you going.
Yeah.
So like I think I felt the same way like with Doom games, like 2016 specifically, and then of course Eternal came out, but it drove the narrative, or not even the narrative, it drove like the adrenaline of what's going on the screen forward. But anyways, let's get back to difficulty. I want to talk about that. The wide spectrum of difficulty. They've always had like 5 or 6 or 5. I think it's 5 different levels of difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Did you fart around with them at all? Did you start on like the easiest one and go to the hardest one to see how like how vast the difficulties were?
I didn't mess around with them. I ended up leaving it for most of my playthrough. I played in the middle, but after I was done, I went back and I turned the game speed up 1 click, and I turned the projectiles that come at you at full speed. And even that, I think those were too slow. Like they shoot these orange and green projectiles at you. You're supposed to walk around the orange ones and block or parry the green ones.
Yeah.
And they were so slow in my playthrough, but I was just kind of going with the rhythm. And when I got toward on the last quarter of the game, I realized I think I have this at a too easy of a setting. And there were times where I would just get a bit bored. And so I would really recommend starting higher than middle, or start at a harder difficulty, or start using those sliders to make the game faster, the projectiles faster, or change the damage output. Because there were times when I was about to die and the game would artificially let me live extra. Like when I got down to 10 health, it would let me stay at that 10 health even though I was taking damage. And I would look down at my Doom guy. I'm like, what? But then I just got so much better at the game that doesn't happen as much. So I would definitely change that to your liking, because you can be in danger of making the game feel a little bit dull if you don't make it to where you're kind of white knuckle.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
By the way,
sure.
Toxic Buttwind in the chat says, Mag, leave the farting around to me. I'll take care of it. With a name like Toxic Buttwind, that's fantastic. Length of the game. How did you feel? Thank you, Collingwood. Yes, I needed to put the hat on. There was too much glare off my bald head today because I just shaved it. So, yeah, I had to put the hat back on. Otherwise, I'm just blinding everyone. I just look like a beacon of light, which I am anyway. The length of the game. How long did the campaign take you? And did you take your time? Did you explore? Did you walk around? Like, let me know how that goes. Like, how, if you were to just beeline it, how long do you know like howtobeat.com, the website, how long to beat?
Yeah.
Like they give you like the different things that says, just the story, X amount of hours, story with some exploration, and then completionist. Give me your ballparks on those things and what you think time-wise, how long this would take you.
My ballpark is it will take most people about 18, maybe 20 hours if they try to find as much stuff as they can before they kind of get sick of it. There were some levels where I would get 100% completion. There's some levels where I get 60 or 75. And then there's a couple levels where I had 40% completion because I would go up and around and look for the extra key, like a purple key or a yellow key, and I wouldn't find it. And I'm like, okay, I'm tired. I'm bored of looking. And then I would move forward, because you can rip right through a level fairly quickly if you say, I'm going to ignore the blue gates. I don't need to go in those, which would be dumb. So yeah, I think that your mileage will vary depending on if you want to find things. If you want to get close to completing each and every level, easily your playthrough will be 25 hours, which is in and around what Doom 2016 and Eternal are. I looked it up before I started playing. The time to beat had Doom Eternal and Doom the Dark Ages at around 20 hours to do like a regular completion. And that's what it ended up being for Dark Ages. So it's about the same. Yeah.
All right, because I'm looking at the chat here. Blue Number saying Destin said it was 12.3 hours on Ultra Violence. And isn't that one of the hardest? I'm just telling you what she said, man. It's right there in the chat. You can see her. She's a moderator, obviously.
I mean,
yeah. So I'm just curious. I mean, it seems like it swings so wildly. And the reason why I'm bringing it up, I obviously don't believe that, like the length of a game should determine a price, let's say. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's starting to become somewhat of a debate out there in these streets where people are talking about it. And I'm not really talking about it, but I mean, other people are starting to talk, but it's hard not to notice when you've got Expedition 33 dropping in at $50, right? And people are asking me, they're like, is Doom worth it? And like, because if it's not that long and it's just going to be me shooting a gun for 10 hours, and I'm like, yeah, but so is Call of Duty. So I'm like, but mind you, Call of Duty has multiplayer. Mafia's coming in at 50 because it's more of a linear experience because they're saying it's about 12 hours long. And so they're like, well, it's a semi-open world, more linear, but it's about 12 hours or so. And that's just like with one playthrough. So we're charging only 50 for it. And then Doom comes out and they're charging 70. So now people are starting to say, well, is this a debate now or is this just a one-off? And that's why I asked about the length of the game. I was just curious. Because I want to see how this is all lining up. Because, two $50 games that are basically AAA right now, Mafia and, well, we'll call Expedition AA+, right? Because it's pretty much a AAA game, in my opinion. So now, like, they're charging a little bit less. Now, mind you, Expedition 33 is like 30 hours to complete. And now if you got Mafia coming in at a $50 range, and I'm just like, interesting. I just find it interesting. I just find it fascinating that that's what's happening.
Lately, that's been a good thing when people are like, oh my gosh, the game's $50. It means it's way better than a AAA game, right? Or people are saying, oh my gosh, the game's 20 hours. Perfect. That's amazing. I don't want to spend 40 hours in a game and have it padded out. I think, Doom Dark Ages is a perfect length. And I could have got it done quicker. I could have taken more time. I can go back and replay all the levels. If you go and just load up a level, it will load up that chapter with all of your unlocks. So it's like a mop-up thing. So I can go back, like chapter 1, I got 100%. Chapter 2, like really low, because like I went in there and I didn't properly do the open map that way. Yeah, you can just go back and just mop it up, and that's going to take you another 8 hours to go through each level and try and unlock everything. Sure. So,
well, it's just like Resident Evil. Like Resident Evil, you could literally finish the game in 6 hours, 5 hours, even on the first run. Right? Yeah. If you just run around and do the thing, you could just finish it in 5-6 hours. But that's not what Resident Evil is about. Resident Evil is about going back and playing it 8 times, because then it unlocks different things every time you do it. So you could turn a 5 or 6 hour campaign into a 40-hour, 60-hour, 80-hour game. If you know, like Resident Evil 4 took me, I think, 90 hours, right, to get a completion on, because I went back and played it several times in order to, you know. But the thing is, it's what you make of it as a gamer.
Yeah.
Right? You can just blow through a game in like one day and be like, all right, there it is. But, you know, the value is in basically the eye of the consumer, so to speak. And so like it depends on how you want to consume that product. If that's the way you want to do it, okay, fine. But like I said, like people are starting to ask questions now about pricing outside of the Game Pass model.
Yeah.
Right? So and now when games are coming to Xbox Game Pass for now and obviously into the future, when those games start going to PlayStation and they start charging full dollar for it, or presumably full dollar for a lot of them, that's where people are starting to ask questions saying, is it even worth it when I could just go access it for $20? Even if they don't even have Game Pass, they could find a way to get to Game Pass and be able to play that game, right? And consume that game. And even, let's just say, for argument's sake, Xbox releases 4 AAA bangers in 1 year. You can actually spend $80 on those 4 games in total, as opposed to $240 if you were to buy them all individually, right? So that's why the conversation is arising. Interesting little thing here. I was just saying, Doom 2016, the main story is about 11 and a half hours. Mains plus extra, 16 and a half. Completion is 27.
Okay.
Right? So 27 hours for that one. Let me just quickly look up Doom Eternal here. It's right here.
Yeah, Doom Eternal is around 20, 22 or something for...
It was a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Let me 14 and a half, 20 hours, 28 and a half for completion. It's only about an hour longer. So, okay. So basically it's on par.
It is.
Like I had a question from, yes, you're right. You're right. Sorry. I was just making conversation there. Let me see if I can find, BT Maverick has a question for you. Magda Cold, is there a home base similar to that space castle in Doom Eternal with optional music records?
No.
Is that spoilerish? Like, is that something people are not going to be happy about?
That's I forgot about that you went home and unlocked all these like little statues and different things like that. No, it doesn't really go like that. It doesn't have like a hub thing where you I don't think so. I'm just thinking, just kind of you go from chapter, you move your way through the world and into hell, and on the way out of the other side. I do want to, not a lot of people watched my game review, and I adjusted it because when it comes to Doom, I was thinking about doing my review and I'm like, what am I supposed to say? Like, what do I say about Doom? Like, okay, you're the Doom Slayer and you're supposed to fight the demons from hell, and these are all the weapons you have available, and talk about every weapon, and here's all the different mechanics. And then after that, I'm like, what else do I say? You're going to be in like a castle area. You're going to be in a hellish landscape. I just couldn't imagine how I could do a proper review where I talk about all the in and outs and mechanics of the game, because just taking a step back, playing a Doom game, you're like, well, what is there to say? And so I quickly wrote the script where I just explained how I felt about the game and what I liked and didn't like. And I said, I'll let the gameplay do the talking. And I put together, I took a long time putting together about 30 clips, and I slammed them all together and timed them up so that you could listen to my review for 3 minutes and watch like 10 minutes or 8 minutes of gameplay footage. And then at the end, I gave my score. Well, people really didn't like that. And there was a bunch of thumbs down for that and complaints. And they said, lazy review. I'm like, yikes, because it wasn't lazy. Like, I spent 2 hours making that review, but I did not want to sit there and write a script and just give you word salad when, like, what else can you say? It's a Doom game. But I will say my complaint with the game is someone in the chat asked, I was looking for it. Asked me, Colt, tell me about the gunplay. Shoot, I can't find it. I'm sorry.
I'm looking for it. Do you know who said it?
I don't remember. Otherwise, I think I would find it. But they asked, how's the gunplay? The gunplay. Oh yeah,
someone did ask that. That was way back in the comments when we first started talking about it.
Yeah, and my issue with the Doom of the Dark Ages is that you spend far less time killing with your guns. It just feels more like Bulletstorm. When you're shooting enemies, they're not really dying. You're just peppering them with damage. And you have this gun that grinds up skulls, and it looks so cool and shoots out like a spread gun. But you're not really killing them. You're just putting damage on them while you close the gap and shield bash them or, whack them with a flail. And that feels really good. It just basically becomes a rock'em sock'em glory kills simulator. I really didn't feel like my guns, other than like the double barrel super shotgun, was like boom, boom, and I would blow like their faces off. But I realized that after 18 to 20 hours of the game, you're Captain America. You're smacking them with a weapon, and you're rushing them with a shield and shoulder bashing them more than you're shooting them with guns. But that is a good feeling. But as a Doom shooter, it's just the guns kind of played second chair to everything else. So it's
K1 who asked about it. K1 in the chat. He said, "How good is the gunplay?"
There it is. I'm looking at it right there. I see it now. Thank you.
It's like we both spotted at the same time. Chris,
and thank you, Happy Bomb, for sending me as well. Yeah. Sorry,
he's asking me who I hope the main protagonist of Resident Evil 9 is. Chris, I want you to be the main protagonist in Resident Evil 9. Chris Redfield. I'm assuming that's Chris Redfield in the chat.
Of course.
Yeah. Of course. That's him in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. We have Celebrity in the chat. He has survived many zombie outbreaks. Nico's World, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. Do we have any other questions for Colt before we move on?
Damn all of you.
Oh,
damn all of you, because I spent 30 minutes plus 40 minutes of rendering to put together all this Doom footage to put right there or whatever it is, to put right there, and you don't want to be spoiled, and I respect that, so we won't show it.
There we go. I see it right now.
It takes a while to render all that at 1080p 60, so it could be look nice in a window there, but you guys will get to play it, and I appreciate you. Before I talk about Doom, the next Doom thing, I picked 2 winners for the Avowed coins from a couple weeks ago. Let me go to full screen here and see if I can get this. I just finally got the coins yesterday. Let me see. This will take a second, but this is the Avowed coin from Ben from Xbox Fan Art. There it is. That is the back. And then I'm going to try and give you the show. I'm going to try to give it to you from the front. This is going to be harder to, there we go. That's the front of the coin. And this one's different for anybody who's seen these coins, because this one's convex. When it curves out, what's that called, Mag?
Curves out. Anyway, it's convex. No, it's convex. Concave is when it's inverted, right?
Concave is your nipples, and this is convex. Yes.
What? So. Not mine.
So, I picked 2 winners. I'll be back in focus here in about 9 minutes. Noisy Mofo, you won a coin. Come on, camera. Noisy Mofo, you won a coin, and Game Seeker won another coin. And the reason why I'm bringing that up now, come on, camera, let's go. The reason why I'm bringing that up now is, this camera's so sensitive. There we go. Is thanks to Ben at Xbox Fan Art, we are giving away 5 Doom the Dark Ages coins. And if you look at him up here, he actually is having them lasersmith cut to have the saw blades.
Amazing.
So this is going to be your most dangerous coin ever. This coin looks incredible, and they're in production right now. And if you want a coin, you're going to have to bookmark this podcast, because after it goes up and it's no longer live, leave a comment about the Doom coin, that you want the Doom coin, or if you do hashtag, don't do hashtag, because it'll get held for review by YouTube. Don't do it. Sorry, I shouldn't even said that. Just write something about the Doom coin, and I will go through the comments and pick 5 winners for this Doom coin. I can't wait to add it to the collection. It's so awesome, and it'll kill you. It will cut off your hand. It's great.
You might as well use them as ninja stars. Like you could literally like throw them across the room and stab them in the foreheads of your enemies. I think it's a fantastic idea. I like that. I think all coins should be deadly. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know.
Yes, Noisy Mofo.
We got to bring manliness back in the world.
We're like, I mean, I'm not going to be the one to bash you. You can help, but I'm not very manly. But Noisy Mofo, if you email me at colteastwooddesign@gmail.com, I will get you the form that will get the coin sent directly to you and make sure that it's on its way. And then you can put it in your pocket and stuff. It's awesome. They're amazing.
Don't put it in your pocket. You might get
circumcised. Yes, I think we do ship to Canada. So yeah, the Doom coin. So I'll say it again before we move on. After the show is posted and it's no longer live, leave an irregular comment in the comment section, and I will be able to filter through that, and I'll be able to pick 5 winners for the coin. You guys are awesome. You guys are amazing. Let me get Jimmy Arona. Thank you so much for the $25 super chat. Says congrats and thanks, and we appreciate you. If you guys weren't here, we couldn't do the show. And Mag and I, we love talking to ourselves. Oh, we do.
Yes.
But that blue number.
I'd rather talk to you, the people.
Right. I mean, I put a sock on my hand. That blue number, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Yay. Says, congrats on 200, friend. Mag was a perfect addition to the show.
Thank you so much. I didn't come into a lot of fanfare. A lot of people didn't like me here because they wanted that other guy. The what's his name there?
The other moron?
The guy the other guy that's in jail now. And then
you say that.
It is what it is.
You say that, but I was going back and looking at when you first showed up, and I had you as a guest like a handful of times, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, make Mag a part of the show. Bring Mag on as a permanent guest. And then the day you came on, like one guy's like, I don't think I like him very much. And then
no, sir, I don't like it. I don't like that horse from like Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy.
The mayor. No, sir, I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Anyways,
it's been awesome, man. Salesman too. It's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, it's kind of funny that we do this and we do this one-on-one thing. Sometimes, very rarely, we'll have a guest on or whatever.
Right.
But the thing is, I find myself, and it's no offense. Obviously, it's no offense to anybody else who has the bigger shows. Because I used to do shows with Boom. I did shows with Noof. I've guested on countless shows. I've been on, Crossfire a bunch of times with Mooch. And then when you get like 5, 6, 7 people, it's not the same because it's so funny because you and I do this one-on-one every week. So it's basically you, me, and the chat. And the chat, to me, is a guest. You know what I mean?
Sure,
because they're part of the show.
Yeah.
And that's why, and I feel they're part of the show. So that's when I look down, I read stuff from them. Even if it's not a super chat, I might go back and say, hey, I saw, whatever. Chuck Green said this or whatever, or Gaming Lifestyle said that, whatever it is. And because I feel that they're part of the show. But then when you get on a thing where like, oh, that's right, there's like 7 people that have to talk. So I'm going to be here for 45 minutes doing push-ups. And then when I hear my name, I'll run back over to the I'll run back over to the thing and put my headphones on. But it's like, it's so different. Like the dynamic is different. And now that I'm so used to this one-on-one thing. Yeah, well, yeah, you were on the show with the guy I got locked in the basement. What the hell was it called? Hold on a second. Dealer, what was the name of that show that you guys had before I canceled it?
Oh my gosh.
You can eat tomorrow.
I've been on plenty of shows where there's a lot of panel members and you're like, yeah, I've been there.
What was the damn show's name?
Nobody remembers.
The show you were on.
I can't remember. It was like the Penetration Podcast or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
B. Martin, thank you so much for the Canadian $5 super chat. It says, congrats, Colt Mag, on 200 episodes. You guys are the best podcast duo in gaming, the Kobe and Shaq of gaming podcasts. And I'm going to assume that I'm Shaq O'Neal. Go, Bob.
Well, go. Colt is definitely Shaq because he's fatter. But I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But the thing is, I also don't want to be the alternative because the alternative is
not around.
Not exactly. Yeah, he's not around either. So like, I'm just like
Mag the helicopter boy.
I don't know.
Yeah, or
you know
Shaq,
what? Actually,
Shaq, the guy who had his own Taco Bell burrito. What?
Well, yeah, no kidding. If you put Colt and I together, we might actually equal up to the weight of one of Shaq's legs. How about that? So we're both Shaq.
I remember in like 97, Shaq O'Neal had a signature burrito at Taco Bell, and it had Fritos in it or something. It was like Taco Bell's version of Fritos, and it was like a bean burrito with Fritos, and like that thing gave me the Chardonnays, like where it just went. Shaq O'Neal. Go, Bob.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I don't want to be Scottie Pippen. I'm going to be Michael Jordan there because Scottie Pippen had an iron face.
You have the nose for Scottie Pippen, though. Your big old nose.
No, Scottie Pippen looked like someone put an iron to his face. It says like,
yeah,
and
but
they took it off, and then he was like had a flat face.
Yeah.
I'd rather be Michael Jordan.
Well, I mean, take off your hat. You look like Michael Jordan. Now give yourself.
No, well, someone in the chat says I look like Gollum, which is kind of true in the lights.
Now shave your mustache like Michael Jordan did. Remember when he just had this for a mustache?
Oh my God, no.
Everyone's like, bro, I know you're like the best basketball player before LeBron was born, but no, he is better.
Well, that's assuming LeBron is not on the ground crying, but anyways, right. Either way, Michael Jordan didn't do a lot of that.
Have you seen these guys that will fight to the death over LeBron versus Michael Jordan?
It's so stupid. There's no comparison. It's almost embarrassing.
But
anyways,
lifestyle, stop. He said, "What did he say?" LeBron James because of the hairline. I'm Dennis Rodman because I swing both ways. Yeah, it's great.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, he said it, not me. Okay, I made the joke about him being fat, which is not true because he's exercising quite a bit, and he's looking really good. But I'd like to make the joke anyway. Fat shaming is a hobby of mine. Bring back bullying. # bring back bullying. But anyways, in all seriousness, then I look down
get a guy
like,
to lose weight faster and his buddy calling him a fat A. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it. Or a fat C if you watch shows like Mobland or something. It's like, he's like, there's a Mars bar in the glove box. Don't touch it. And he goes, like, you need another Mars bar. Yeah, fat.
I'll go into the kitchen and grab like a Toblerone bar or something because I'm hungry. And Mag will just call me and he's like, put it back, fatty.
No,
like,
Colt is fine. Yeah, Colt is fine. I could see Colt. I could feel his presence.
I can hear your fat from Canada.
Oh my God!
Chubblard.
It's not true, ladies and gentlemen. Colt Eastwood is not fat. He's in fantastic shape, and he's done very well for himself. Little table, come on. That's very rude, Meg. We're just having fun.
Purple Haze, thank you so much for the $10
RDX podcast.
Oh, that's right. RDX, yeah.
RDX podcast.
Penetrex.
Thanks, dealer, for not answering. Guess what? You don't get food for another 2 days because of that. All right, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
he's happy. He's
he
fine.
puts the lotion on. Or he gets the hose.
You put the lotion on, or you get the hose again, dealer. Thank you.
Yep. Shout out to Dealer Gaming, the pioneer of podcasting. He invented the first podcast. Purple Haze, thank you so much for the super. Says, how do you feel about Xbox putting games everywhere and PlayStation still sticking to the trend of the 90s? Is it that bad? And do you think people will buy the next generation? Why if they don't? Well, this is a very loaded question, and Mag and I've talked about it for a year and a half solid. Absolutely, we have. PlayStation doesn't have to do it. And do you think people will buy the next generation console, Mag?
Which one? Which is he referring to? The Xbox console or the PlayStation console?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, will they buy the next generation Xbox? Or
Xbox.
Why or why not? How about that?
I think that what you're going to get, is you're going to get, like I was saying last week, I think you're going to get that 15%. 10 to 15%, because I think that number's dropped a little bit now because a lot of people are moving on to, whoever has the money for it, have moved on to PC, right? And so they're accessing their, and I've seen it. I see more and more Xbox players leaving the Xbox console and then moving on to PC, and like, I should have made this move earlier, this and that. Deadly Headley's one of them. He's got one a week ago, and he won't stop talking about his PC. He's so happy about it.
In the chat, Septic Sauce, who spent $5,000 to get away from the name Xbox, that was like trying to spank his little rear end nonstop. He's like, "Oh, stop! I'm over here on PC."
Yeah, Septic Sauce. I see Gaz in the chat. No, he doesn't spend that on his PC. He spends that on the cocaine that him and Zelensky use in Macron whenever they go on train rides. I've seen the footage, Gaz. I saw you sitting there, and I saw the little white bag disappear.
Gaz sprinkles a little bit of coke right on the 5090, and then he loads up Cyberpunk, and it goes.
It just just floats into his mouth. Yeah, well, I mean, he's a lawyer. What do you expect? That's all I expect. The kind of behavior I expect from them. Anyways, I would imagine that the number would drop. Like I would say, from like last generation to this generation, there's a huge dynamic shift happening over the last 5 years. That you could say that there was about let's say 30 to 40 million console owners at that point, right? Like I would say, let's say about 40 is probably the average between Xbox One going into the series console. Sure. But then as people who are not interested so much in, let's say the PlayStation side of things of games coming out day one, they're like, well, I'm not really, I don't need to play the new God of War right away or whatever. I could wait on PC. I have no problem with that. Then they make the move to PC. Right? They get that, and all of a sudden, that 40 million drops down to 35, down to 30, down to 25. And so by next generation, anybody who's interested in that ecosystem, the Xbox ecosystem and Game Pass, that number will continue to grow over there, which we, by the way, have seen, whether that's correlated or not, is that we have seen a pretty heavy increase in PC Game Pass subscribers over the last little while.
It's up like 42% or something. Yeah.
Right. And so as a result of that, what's happening is the engagement's up over there. Yes, let's be fair. It's also like 48% cheaper than the console Game Pass. Right. So they still have the cheaper price for the PC Game Pass. So a lot of people are getting onto that over there. I would think that the next generation, it'll drop down to about 10-15% of the hardcore console owners will continue to buy an Xbox console. They will make them available. They will be expensive, but they will still be available. So they can never say, well, we shut the door. They didn't. They say, well, here's the option. And by the moves that I've seen, it doesn't seem like they really want anybody on the Xbox console. They don't seem to make anything very enticing to be an Xbox console owner. They raise the price of the hardware. They continuously raise the price of Game Pass, but PC, they have it. They've been steady with the PC Game Pass price. I don't know if they're going to raise it. I'm sure they will at some point, but they don't seem to be. And it doesn't seem like they really like you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't seem like they have a lot of focus. I have this feeling, and it's just a feeling. I have a feeling that Microsoft, not Xbox, Microsoft kind of wants to push people out of that hardware and move them on to different forms of engagement that make them more money. That's just my call. Whether I'm right, we'll find out. As for PlayStation and Nintendo, they will continue to do what they do because they find massive success with the way that they run their business model. And Microsoft is making massive success, or is having massive success with their business model. So why mess with it? I just say all three companies do whatever you're doing now because you're doing great. You're all making a ton of money. Have fun. Make your money. Buy your vacation houses. Go on train rides with Macron and do whatever they do on those trains. And Gaz. You know, a lot of money to be made, a lot of money to be spent. So just my call.
Yeah. I agree. Meg gave a really long-winded answer to say that it's probably going to be cut in half next generation, and Xbox will be fine with it. But one thing that...
They don't care. They want engagement.
They don't. Yeah. I'm saying, we don't care. I love that. What we do care about is one of the things that makes this show possible, because we're at 200 episodes, and over the past 6 months, we've had a great sponsor. And Meg, I wanted you to tell people about 4XP because they've been a big part of the community, and tell them what's going on. Apparently, the promo code needs to be updated, but they're having they're doing some cool stuff right now. What can you tell us about 4XP, the energy drink of all the gaming nation?
What do you mean? What can I tell you about 4XP? I could just tell you the world about 4XP.
Mag wears many hats.
4XP, right here, buddy. 4xpgaming.com, ladies and gentlemen. You got to go to the website. You got to go check it out. You got to go see all the promotions they're doing. These guys have been working their butts off for months and months and months. They have been very generous with us, the sponsoring the show and everything else, and sending us such wonderful products for us to check out. They've been going to live events. They've been doing try before you buy promotions on their website, and they even have. I don't even know if they've drawn the name yet. So I don't even know if the contest is over. I would imagine not, because the game actually technically hasn't been released yet. But if you go to 4xpgaming.com, you can actually join the sweepstakes for the Doom Dark Ages Special Edition. That's right, folks. The special edition, the ultimate edition is available right there. Just have to put in your name, put in your email, and then that's it. That's all you got to do. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to buy anything. Just get on there and go on it. But while you're there, why not buy anything? Why not buy something? Buy something. Buy some white gummy. Buy some ultra violence. I mean, ultra violence fits with Doom, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we might as well, if you're going to do some ultra violent or ultra nightmare, excuse me.
Yeah.
If you want to play some Ultra Nightmare, why not drink Ultra Nightmare while you're doing it, ladies and gentlemen? Either way, 4xpgaming.com. That is where you got to go. That's where you got to go check it out. And like I said, every single week, and I'm not exaggerating this, as I get, well, as you well know, I get thousands of DMs every single week from people all over the world on Twitter, Xbox, and PlayStation.
Thousands?
And people send me thousands, dude. It's ridiculous. And but it's awesome. It's ridiculous, but it's awesome because I love talking to everybody. And even just a one, even if I take like 2 days to respond, it's still there. Guess what? People are still sending me pictures of like, yo, I bought 4XP and I got this flavor. I really like it. I'm buying my second tub. I'm buying my third tub. I got the first tub for free, but now I'm paying for it because I love it. This and that. Get in on it, man. There's tons of stuff to do there. There's tons of stuff to buy. There's tons of stuff to read. There's pictures. There's articles. There's all kinds of stuff. There's the sweepstakes going on right now. Why would you miss out on such a thing? Get out of the dark ages and get into 4xpgaming.com. Go check them out right now. And go into the sweepstakes. Do it right now. You can listen to us screaming and pull up the website and go enter the sweepstakes right now for the Doom, the Dark Ages Ultimate Edition. Available right there. It's right on the website. Go check it out. Go check out our family of sponsors. I'll be wearing this hat for the rest of the show. 4XP right here, baby.
Thank you, Meg. I appreciate you. We appreciate them too. And with the achievement sound, beautiful. Let's talk about one of the big news items that like came into as a splash, and kind of an embarrassing thing that happened in the news. But Chris Dring, who used to work for Bloomberg, started his own gaming site, partnered with Jeff Keighley, and he was talking on his podcast about how game developers don't want to work with the Xbox platform because they think the Xbox platform is going away and it's dying. Why would we even bother? This hit the international news circuit. Chris Dring had to immediately respond and say, that's not really what I meant, even though it's partially what he said, that devs want to skip Xbox. He had to reply saying that it's not actually true, that Xbox is bigger than ever, and third-party publisher support from other studios and platforms is bigger than it's ever been. And I tried to cover this in my video about the infographic show that said nobody wants to work with Xbox, when the majority of games, especially mainstream games, are all on Xbox unless they have some sort of exclusivity deal. So things are bigger than ever. One of the pieces of news that came out that same week was that Final Fantasy VII has been announced to come to the Nintendo Switch sometime this year. And I'm like, where is the announcement for Xbox? And guess what, Meg?
I'm still waiting.
Yeah, right. I know. We're still waiting.
I'm not waiting, but
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to play it.
I already played them. I bought them on PlayStation.
I mean, the guy's name's Cloud McStrife. I mean, am I really going to play that? But no,
Cloud McStrife.
Cloud McStrife. No, I'm just kidding. Very high rated game. I don't know. I might have to give it a shot because good games should be played, and I really don't like bashing a game just because I don't care to play it. It's kind of dumb. Xbox Showcase might be the time that we get the reveal of Final Fantasy VII and 16 coming to Xbox probably this year. So Xbox has even more games coming there. Nate the Hate said that it was supposed to be at Developer Direct, and I think where there's smoke, there's fire. So if you're a big Final Fantasy fan, I guess you just have to wait until 3 weeks from now, you'll get that information.
It is happening. And I've done a couple of videos about it between, January and like March of this year. And there were dates where it kept showing up. And I keep talking to people over on that side of the fence. And I'm like, what's going on with this? It was supposed to be announced in March. Then it was supposed to be announced at the Developer Direct thing. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Then it gets announced for the developers, and then it got announced for the Switch too. And then I'm like, okay, That was great, but what about what we were supposed to announce for Xbox? Now it just seems like they're kicking the can down the road, and they just keep kicking the can down the road. And I'm like, well, what's going on here? So as we have told people before, when it comes to insider information, things change on a daily basis. No, that's not like a protection against bad intel or that we're wrong. It's nothing about that. It's just that they say, well, this is our plan, this is what we're doing, and they're like, all right, you know what? Hold off on that. Nintendo's getting the first announcement. We'll do ours at the summer showcase. We may not hear about that right away. We hear about whatever before, and then as the news progresses. And as I said to somebody who's being such an a-hole about it, to Detective Seeds, and I said, dude, just because we throw you a bone doesn't mean we need to know how it tastes. All right, just take it, go back to your rug. You know what I'm saying? So, like, by the way, that's a line. That's a line from Snatch. If anybody saw that movie, fantastic movie. And of course, Bricktop said that because it was about some intel, like some insider intel in a boxing match, and he said the same thing. He goes, "If I throw you a bone, I don't need to know how it tastes." Yeah. Anyways, great. That was basically it. So, anyways, as for that coming, it's still coming. It's just when. But you're right. Summer Showcase sounds like the exact kind of time that you would want to showcase that. I mean, literally, it's just a couple of weeks away. I mean, we're also forgetting that we're basically halfway through the month of May already. I keep thinking like the June showcase is like 2 months from now. I haven't really heard much of what's going on at the show, and actually, I'm not upset about that.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
I get bombarded with inside info, but I've got nothing on the showcase yet. Watch next week, all of a sudden I'll get a tidal wave of stuff. But I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I like to actually just be able to watch the show and be surprised myself. You know what I mean? And just react to it and be like, wow.
Yeah, because typically about middle of May or early part of May, a lot of leaks start pouring in. And so far, absolutely nothing's poured in. I talked to someone, because I'm not an insider. Somebody tried to insult me today and say that I'm a pretend insider. I'm like, I've never once claimed to be one at all. I did talk to someone who normally gets the inside scoop, and they were like, it's like, there's nothing out there. And this coming week, during the week,
eerie.
Yeah, eerily quiet. Xbox is the worst leaker on the planet, and they're able to keep some of this quiet right now. Other than us hearing at the beginning of the year that they really want to go even bigger with the showcase this year than they did last year. And last year was incredibly phenomenal. So I will be making a video sometime this week for the, sometime middle or end of the week about what I think should be there or could be there. And that'll be pretty cool. But other than that, the showcase stuff's been very quiet. Let me read a super here from Red Wolf Renegade. Thank you so much for the $10 super. It says, congrats on 200, bro. Here's to 200 more. I will never forget consistently begging for Mag to be a permanent guest alongside you and Gaz.
Thanks, man.
Look at you now. You both rock. Thanks, never buddy. Stop stopping. I appreciate you.
Nah, man, we're not going anywhere. We're going to keep going.
And KY Bob,
keep going. Keep doing this. Episode 500 coming soon to a theater near you, folks.
Yeah, I was, I had my birthday on Thursday. I turned 49. And people would ask me, oh, how does it feel? I'm like, I think Mag would agree, like, 50? Like, who cares? Like, 50's good. Right now,
50 affected me.
What's that?
50 affected me.
Oh, it did. Like, when you hit the number, it actually got you?
Yeah.
But you feel great,
yeah,
don't
that
you?
One,
like, you're
like
in really good shape.
No, I'm fine. Yeah, no problem there. But, like, when I was in my 40s, even 49, I'm like, well, I'm still in my 40s. So, like, whatever. But then as soon as I hit 50, I felt like there was a dynamic shift in perception of me, right? Because when you say you're in your 40s, you're still on the edge of your 30s, you're still there. But then when you hit 50, you're like, oh, shoot.
I think I'm gonna try not
now
to.
You're officially, So happy birthday, 50. And it was just like, okay, I don't know, man. It's a hard one to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow, let me tell you.
I guess it could, but I mean, at my age, I'm good with this. Like, I'm good with, like, I'm physically able or whatever, and I'm getting old or whatever it is. But this weekend, I had my birthday. My dad turned 78, and then there was Mother's Day, and like my relatives are all there, and they're super old, right? And they were telling stories about their dad in the 40s, and I was like, I got this inundation of oldness, but I'm still good with it. But last night, my daughter was like, "Do you want to go do karaoke and go to the club?" And I'm like, "Sunday night?" And she's like, "If you don't, I'll go by myself." And I'm like, "All right, I'll go." And so we went out last night, and we went to a karaoke bar and then to a club. And there's no one there on a Sunday night, so we played pool and left. But I did some Bon Jovi stuff. She sang a song, and I went home, and I'm like, "Hey, I'll be all right. I don't have to be old forever. It'll be great." But shout out to her for keeping me honest, I suppose. Yeah. Let me.
It is freaky though, but I'm not going to get into it. Sorry. Let's get into something else. Let's get back to gaming and bitching about gaming.
We'll get back to gaming. KY Bob is a channel member for 66 months, my longest channel member ever. Says, "Great show. I'm just lurking here in the silent background while Doom downloads. I thought it was already downloaded. Nope. But the art book was," and he has a sad face. "The art book was downloaded." Oh, you downloaded the wrong thing. And shout out to KY Bob. I am going to be doing a super class with him. I also do a super class with Game Seeker and teach them about everything, thumbnails, streaming, YouTube production, and everything like that. Red Wolf Renegade says, "Talk more about the Shun Joe case and Final Fantasy VII on Xbox." Yeah, I just think we're going to get that announcement.
So
What's that?
I wonder if I said it funny because of my, like I said, my dental surgery. I might have said the Shun Joe case,
or I might.
You never know.
Yeah, you know,
or you might have. Yeah.
Red
Wolf, knock it off, man. We're too old. We can't figure out what's going on here. Who you insulting or just being hilarious?
Real quick, I don't want to get political, but I thought you might know better than me. Apparently today the tariffs got put on hold, and Jez Corden said, "Do you think Microsoft will bring the price back to normal on the consoles?" And everyone's like, "No." Bro, check this out.
Oh, sorry. That was good for a laugh. That was good for a laugh. Anyways, what is that? Console Wars. Console Wars.
Yeah, I got the card game in the. My wife had me order this because I played it at E3. No, at Shun Showcase last year. Yeah. So basically, this is
that's fantastic. Yeah,
this is like a Monopoly style game where you acquire franchises and studios, and like, you know, like Boardwalk, if you get all the blues, like you have like the most value on your hand. So this is like you stack up these values of genres. Like I'm gonna build all the RPGs, and then I'm gonna have like the best studios, then the best first-person shooters, and they're all worth money, and you trade, and you can steal, and it's really cool. So I'm going to be playing that with friends when I get a chance. But the tariffs thing, I don't know. Real quick, Meg, I don't want you to harp on it, but is anything going to change? Okay.
No, they're not going to change a damn thing.
Let's talk about Grand Theft Auto, bro. Let's talk about Grand Theft Auto. I know you want to talk about it.
Hold on.
What?
I do want to talk about it, but there's something else I just want to bring up here because I've seen several people ask the question. Contraband. And the only reason why is because I've seen Contraband. I've seen gameplay of Contraband. I've seen screenshots of Contraband. And everybody's like, what the hell happened to that game? And I'm like, you know what? I don't know. It disappeared into the ether. I'm sure it's still coming. Yes, you in the second row there, Mr. Colteastwood. You have a question?
All I know is I think it's going to be okay.
From MSNBC. Yep. I'm sure it's going to be fine. I'm just saying I haven't heard anything.
I don't know anything, but I did ask somebody that does pretend to be an insider, and basically it was like I was like, I think they're going to cancel it, aren't they? And he's like, no, it's going to be all right. It's gonna be all right.
No. They're not going to cancel the game. I'm just saying we haven't heard any info in a while. Like I even spoke to people who played the like pre-alpha. You know, they were playing like the online component, and they were playing that, and I learned all about the online component and you know how many players get to play. I'm not going to spill that information here. That's not. I'll leave that for the developer. But you know how many people per the developers, how many people per team, that kind of thing, and what you're doing. So that was pretty cool. But it just, in terms of like hearing information about it, I wasn't talking about the game not coming. It's just the information just dropped off the edge of a cliff after that. And it's been almost a damn year since I started getting that steady flow of info and whatever else. And then it just disappeared. And I'm like, and people kept asking me like, is it gone? And I'm like, no, I'm sure it's still there. As in, it's just, they're not talking, which I'm actually okay with. And
Yeah.
I've always been a big supporter of developers just doing your work, and you don't need to give me 17 videos of you at a rocky lake, while you're making Hellblade 2. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need like we're in Iceland again. I don't.
Well, it does
the game, bro.
It does
You know what I
garner
mean? Like,
concern when all
you
you
don't hear
got
anything at
was a tone trailer with absolutely no moving parts except for a record player in 2021. It might even be 2020, but I'm going to say it was probably 2021. And you've seen nothing, not a screenshot, not a developer update or anything.
You and I have seen it.
Malik goes, Contraband is a game no one asked for. Expedition 33 is a game no one asked for, and everybody loves it. Nobody asked for a French turn-based quasi JRPG. No one asked for that, and they love it.
A French turn-based.
I mean, it's really what it is. It's really what it is.
It's so funny. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great way to phrase it. Sorry,
people always say no one asked for Grounded. 20 million people loved it. No one asked for, like I don't know, people say that stuff. It's like there are things that we're asking for, and one of them is Grand Theft Auto. And you did a video today because we'll start with the Small Piece. Small Piece's two major Rockstar games are going to get remastered. This is good news for especially PlayStation players. No shade, because I want to give you the floor on this, but no shade that if you're on PlayStation, you're missing out on games like Max Payne 3. You're missing out on games like Grand Theft Auto 4. Those are locked away from you. If you're on Xbox or PC, you've always been able to play those games. Always. You can load up Grand Theft Auto 4 right now and play it at 720p 60 frames. I think it's still 720p, but I know it has FPS or unlock frame rate. If you want to play Max Payne
digital?
On disc.
I was going to say, because it had to be on disc, because I was about to check the Xbox store right now while you're talking, but I'm like,
but I mean, you can go to eBay and buy that, or go to GameStop and buy the disc for Grand Theft Auto 4, and it's totally playable, and your save might even be there if you moved it to the cloud back in the day. So,
backwards compatibility on Xbox, yes.
So I kind of spoiled it, but what two games are they talking about remastering, and what is your thoughts on it?
The word is, and like I said, I put a cautionary, sticker on my video saying, listen, this is not fact. These are not people I spoke to, but it started picking up steam. Like, we started hearing whispers about it in the back channels, but nothing confirmed. And then it started creeping into social media, and then it started creeping into legacy media. And that's where I was getting into it. I'm like, okay, there's got to be a little bit more credence to the story now, because when legacy media starts picking it up, and it wasn't one outlet, it was like 4, 5, 6 outlets, and they all came out within a short period of time. What the word is that Grand Theft Auto 4 is getting the remaster treatment and being released later this year. That would be wonderful, because Grand Theft Auto 4 was a fantastic game with the best DLC I've ever played in a Grand Theft Auto game. And GTA has had tons of fantastic DLC out there. They've even had those I can't even get into all of them, but they're amazing. Like, remember the one with the biker gang? You're part of the biker gang.
Yeah, Lost in the Dam and the Ballad of Gay Tony are freaking amazing.
The Ballad of Gay Tony is possibly I was telling Steven XP there in the chat earlier today that the Ballad of Gay Tony is possibly one of the best DLCs I've ever played of any game, period. The story was so amazing and funny and scary and exciting all at once. And I'm like, this is awesome. And of course, Nico Bellic as a character. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say Grand Theft Auto 4 is really, really great, but it sacrificed realism for the fun factor we got from San Andreas. And Ballad of Gay Tony brings back a little bit of that fun factor, like the parachute free dives and stuff like that. But some races, I think, are brought into Gay Tony. It's been a long time. I played The Lost in the Damned and Ballad of Gay Tony right when they launched, and I forgot, because I didn't care back then, that they were exclusive to Xbox 360 at launch, at least. Like, you could only play The Lost in the Dam and Gay Tony if you were on an Xbox 360. I didn't realize that there was like a disparaging difference between the consoles back then. But anyway, my issue with the Grand Theft Auto 4 remaster is that I know that they'll make it 4K. I already have it. I bought it for like $3 on PC. It doesn't look good. It's really undersaturated. It's really sharp, but the character models look so bad right now. They were doing comparisons of Grand Theft Auto 6 to Grand Theft Auto 5, and this one post on Instagram said Grand Theft Auto 6 makes 5 look like a PS2 game. And they were showing character models in the trailers from both games, and I was looking at them like, man, they ain't wrong. Like 5 looks like a PS2 game when you look directly at the newest one. So my thing for Grand Theft Auto 4, my thing for Grand Theft Auto 4 is if I wanted to play it, I could play it on PC or Xbox. And the way that Rockstar remasters, they just don't blow anybody's hair off their skull when they do it. They just kind of just phoned in. It looks okay. It looks better than it did, but it'll be accessible to PlayStation 5 console for the first time ever. But let's talk about Max Payne 3, and you cover this in your video. So tell us, like, what can we expect? Because that's also available on Backpat on Xbox.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Again, physical, folks, but I'm not sure. Is the digital for Max Payne 3 coming? Sorry, available on digital.
I think Max Payne 3 is available digitally to play on Xbox. I can't remember. I think it is.
Yeah. Oh, well, while we're talking, I'll check it out later. But either way, the thing is that I was going to touch on the remaster part for GTA 4 first. Is that if they do a remaster like they did with the original, not the original trilogy, but with that trilogy, remember that the remaster trilogy of 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. It was okay, but it wasn't great. I mean, like they increased the frames, they cleaned up a little bit of the images, and then they added a lighting system. Yeah, like it wasn't like they added a lighting system to it, but again, it just didn't feel like, it didn't feel worth the money. I didn't buy it. And I'm a big Grand Theft Auto fan, and I did not buy that trilogy. However, what I did say in my video, go check out the video, by the way. Help me out, man. Help me out.
Hell yeah, the views are tough out there, bro.
Yeah, the views are tough, man. The streets are tough. What I was saying in the video is like, if they make a remaster like Oblivion, for example, now we're talking turkey. You know what I mean? Because then it's dependent on your hardware. It's dependent on your hardware that you might get the better experience. Now, the thing is, Oblivion is 20 years old by all accounts, right? GTA 4 is not 20 years. So there's no excuse by saying it's too old.
16 or 18 years old. It's 17 years old.
17? Okay, so it's 17. So there's, by all accounts, you can't say that it's too old to remaster. Well, they did a 20-year-old game with Oblivion, and dependent on your hardware, it looks fantastic and plays fantastic. The word is that they've been working on this, developing this remaster of GTA 4 for over a year. They've been developing for over a year now.
Well, I mean, they're putting in that much time. For a long time too. What are you expecting, Meg, on 4? Then?
I don't know because if it's the only thing that we have to go on is what they've already given us, and what they gave us to me was not worth the money, and I didn't buy it as a result. Right? Yeah. They need to overhaul the systems. They need to overhaul the shooting mechanics. They need to, increase the frames. Definitely increase the graphics. Take the jaggy out of it, so to speak. And like I said, if they could do what they did with Oblivion, then I'm all in. Because then I'll be like 100% I'm in. I will put in 100 hours into that, no problem. But
they won't, because they didn't. Like they had 3 San Andreas and Vice City, like iconic games. They could have put them in the Library of Congress in a time capsule for time and all eternity and made those games feel and look amazing. And they basically took the mobile versions and turned the sun like at a 3-degree angle or something. But they fixed it. Like when I played it last year, they kind of corrected it a little bit better. But
it was outsourced to a different company. It wasn't Rockstar.
Rockstar's not working on this one, right?
Well, I don't know. That's kind of what they were hinting at, that Rockstar themselves were working on this. And the other thing they were working on, as we're getting into, is Max Payne 3. Max Payne 3, they owned. Because didn't they purchase the IP after 1 and 2? Because 1 and 2 was made by, what's their face?
It was made by Remedy.
Was it Remedy? No.
It wasn't called Remedy.
Developers. What development? Now you got me. Now you got me looking it up because I'm old.
It wasn't called Remedy then. You know who would know? Red Wolf would know, and he's going to write it in the chat in about 18 seconds.
It says here Remedy.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't remember the Remedy logo back then.
Maybe the logo was different because I don't remember. I mean, I played Max Payne 1 and 2. I adored those games. I loved like film noir and like the sort of Sin City vibe and like the narration and whatever. And it was fantastic. And then all of a sudden Rockstar bought them. Bought the IP, and then they released Max Payne 3, which was like totally wild. What was it like in South America? And he's wearing like a Bermuda shirt.
He goes all
beat up, drunk.
He goes to Brazil, right? And it's like the most realistic depiction of the what's the place called? The village area. Oh gosh, so amazing! Oh my gosh, that game is so good.
That was great. And then the bullet time was improved so incredibly and everything else. It was a wild game. But yeah, so apparently they're doing that as well. And then they're re-releasing at some point, or whoever's releasing the remakes of 1 and 2, of Max Payne 1 and 2. Now, the thing is, I have to be careful with that word remake.
NC got it. What's that? The favela.
Yeah. Oh, the favelas.
Yeah, you get there
favelas.
and it's
like... I didn't know what you were referring to.
It's like you're there.
Yeah.
There was nothing like it in a video game experience for me at the time.
Yeah.
He shaves his head. He's got the beard and the aviators and the freaking. We were wearing 2 weeks ago. You and I were wearing the Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, the Hawaiian shirt, and he's drunk at the bar with a smoke and his like quadruple whiskey, and yeah, man, that was awesome.
All the characters
great
were
game,
so cool.
Great story.
I own that on Xbox. I bought it on PC for like $12 a few years ago, and it looks really amazing and runs great there. It would be nice to play it on console and pop those achievements.
The thing is though, like I was saying, I wanted to get back to this remaster thing because when we heard Oblivion was a remake, and then you'd go back and they're like, no, it's just a remaster. Like this terminology, I got to know what's what here. When you say remake, that means that means Resident Evil 2, 3, 4. Remakes. Those are remade from the ground up. All they kept was the bones of the maps, basically, and like the structure of the game. But other than that, and you play Resident Evil on a proper screen, proper monitor or screen on a proper console or PC, and it looks like a wet painting, right? It's like, holy crap, this is made from the ground up. A remaster is a whole different thing. So people keep mixing that terminology around, and I'm like, so what is this? But what we're hearing, it's a remaster for those two games, GTA 4
and I
and
believe
Max
it too.
Payne 3.
I believe.
Now
it.
the thing is, that's what we're hearing, a remaster. Now the other thing is that they're saying that Max Payne 1 and 2 is a remake, like a full blown remake from the ground up. That would be heavy development costs for something like that, right?
You need to, because Max Payne 1 and 2 are like.
Oh, they were brutal. I mean, like, if you go back to play those now,
it's like Roblox, bro. And I can tell you, because I played Max Payne a little bit last year when I was working on a video, and I put some footage in there. About a year ago, I've got footage, probably a few minutes of Max Payne 3 on PC, and it doesn't have anything to do with the PC. The PC can only do so much with an old game, but Max Payne 3 still holds up pretty well. So if you get that on your PS5, your Xbox console, at 4K-ish at 60 frames, like it's gonna feel and look amazing. Now Grand Theft Auto 4 is a little bit rougher. So I can tell you with confidence that playing through Grand Theft Auto 4 is going to be like Nico my cousin is going to be like pretty rough to go through, and that game is very dated. Max Payne 3 is not, just because it's like jumping and bullet shooting and breaking apart concrete and papers flying everywhere. Like that never dies. But Grand Theft Auto 4 has some mechanics in it, and you want to go Bonnie Nico? Let's go Nico my cousin. I don't think I'll play 4, but I might dip in and do a whole playthrough of 3. I've already played it through all the way through twice. So yeah.
I would go back and play it. It's been years since I played it, but several years. But the thing is that if they do a good job with it, I would have no problem paying for that and playing through the entire game and completing it, like really going for the 100%. I would do that, but it has to look incredible and play incredible.
Yeah.
Like it can't be just like, going back and playing the GoldenEye remaster that they released on Game Pass a couple years ago. Like, no, it was cool for like 30 minutes. And then that was 96. It. And then I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, I remember this level. And that was it. And like, I never went back and did anything because I'm like, no, I can't do that. But if you rebuild this thing, right? If you really spend the time and the money and rebuild this thing, it's not like Rockstar doesn't have the money to do this. If they do go back and do that, then absolutely. But anyways, whatever.
They're so dumb. Like Rockstar is so amazing, but I bought Red Dead 1 remaster 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I started to play it, and I'm like, after a little bit, the 60 frames niceness, you kind of forget about it, and I'm like, I just did this because it looks phenomenal on Xbox, even at 30. It just looks the same, pretty much. And I say Rockstar is dumb because their games are so iconic and they're so timeless that I say that as I was kind of bashing 4. I love 4 to death. I love it. It's one of the only games I've 100%ed, but it just doesn't hold up. They really need to take these games and truly pour over them a modern feel and put some talent on it. They just need to farm it out to a studio and say, Virtuos, or we talked about last week, Virtuos has like 8,000 employees. Give it to Virtuos and go, look, it's 2025. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Make this look like a 25 game.
Make it remotely feel like a 2020s game and just make it look a little nicer. And that game will fly off the shelves for an eternity at $70 or $60. When is Max Payne 3 and Grand Theft Auto 4 Remastered supposed to come out?
Apparently this year, but I mean, we'll see. Yeah, apparently this year. That's the word. Well, no, sorry, maybe not Max Payne 3, but certainly the GTA 4. They said the next one on the list to be completed will be Max Payne 3. That does not translate to 2025. That might get pushed to 26, but
and the leaker
seems to be the word.
Yeah, and the leaker said that the wait for Grand Theft Autos in the next like 11 months is going, or whatever, I guess it's 12 months, is going to be offset by a Grand Theft Auto 4 remaster. If that information is true. So that maybe by the end of the year, like Mag said, we could be playing Grand Theft Auto 4, and maybe I would like to do that, but it's going to be a packed schedule anyway.
It's going to be a packed schedule anyway. Christian 5916 in the chat, he's saying, he bought LA Noire. It definitely wasn't like he remembered the PS 360 days. LA Noire could use a full remake. I would buy the hell out of that game.
Didn't he get a remaster already, though?
They did a remaster, but dude, there were so many nights I had my finger on the trigger ready to buy it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to buy this. Because I absolutely loved LA Noire. The music, the vibe, everything about it was just so incredible. And I absolutely adored that game. But no, I just never pulled the trigger on it. If they were able to bring that to 2025, I'm in.
Mag.
I
never finished it.
Dude, it's so good.
I need to, because I didn't I watched the face really closely, and then it was like wrong. And I'm like, how am I not getting this? And then it just like robbed me.
Body language, baby.
I need to play it again. I played it for like maybe 8 hours, and I'm like, I'm not getting it. I feel bad.
It kind of felt like a Mafia game. Oh, Bully. You know what? Actually, you want to hear something crazy? I've never played Bully at all.
I haven't either.
Ever.
Well,
I never played it when it came out.
GameFly, but I didn't really play it. It was pretty ancient.
I never played it. And you know what the thing is? We can't go back to it now. Have you seen videos of Bully?
Yeah.
It's so awful. It looks so awful. It's almost like those Manhunt games. You remember Rockstar had those games, Manhunt, which I loved those games. It was kind of like an even more vicious version of the Running Man, so to speak, right? And Manhunt 1 and 2. And I adored those games. Chat, do yourself a favor. Go back and watch footage of Manhunt 1 and 2 gameplay. It is so bad that it's not even unplayable, it's unwatchable. That's how bad it is. So it's not even worth, like, you know what I mean? Like going back and looking at playing any of those stuff. But go look at it for fun. You'll have a blast. You get a couple laughs out of it.
I can't think of Bully without thinking of a redheaded Bobby Hill from King of the Hill as the main character. I don't know why. Let me get Game Seeker. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, congrats on 200 episodes. I can see it already. Episode 400 will be titled Microsoft Puts Sony Out of Business. Just kidding. Yeah, right. Have a great show, boys. We appreciate you. Yeah.
And then we'll also be retired by the time episode 400 comes out. Colt and I will be retired.
This is day 8 of me asking Phil Spencer to retire, you bum. I've been seeing those tweets go.
I saw that. I've been watching that. Yeah.
You know, let me ask publicly.
That boy ain't right. Yes.
Yeah, Bobby?
Sorry, I saw it.
I saw it lectured all day.
Bobby?
I don't mind saying this publicly because I don't have beef with this guy, but I've been kicking around this idea for many years. I'm gonna put Mag on the spot. I would actually like to consider one day having Crap Gamer on the show and just talking about how everything has gone down and how he feels about everything, and just kind of having a reasonable discussion about being one of the biggest Xbox content creators for a long time. But I feel like there's certain people that, you know, that'll do like the flip-flop thing and people just have no quarter for them anymore. And I always got this feeling that if I brought Crap on this show for us to have like a good gaming discussion with them, that people will be like, I'm out. I'm not watching that one. But I don't know. It's just something I thought about because he kind of didn't like me for a while. And then he was like, you know, sorry, bro. It's just, you know how it is. I'm like, yeah, dude, don't worry about it. It's fine. Because to me, he's a fellow content creator. And like, there's so many content creators in this scene, like MBG. I have no problem with the guy whatsoever, because people were like, people just assume that you're one way or the highway. And maybe we're all biased to some respect, but I probably
that's
won't
like me not liking you. That's like me not talking to you because you like the Seattle Mariners and I like the Toronto Blue Jays.
Right.
Like like that makes no sense. Like, because I do what I do, and you know, I'm on this show. Obviously, I'm on this show every week. We're dear friends. I go on Crossfire. Mooch and I are friends. Crap and I are friends. I'm friends with MBG. I'm friends with Reforge Gaming. I'm friends with Randall Thor. You know, you know what I mean? Like we're all, it doesn't matter. I could name a million people from both sides of the fence. The only people fighting in the middle are people who are just whatever. They're so stuck in this like console war thingy or whatever. That's fine. You can do that. I'm not saying you can't do that. Go ahead and do that. There's no problem with it. That's what fans mean.
I see it a lot, Mag, where people assume that I hate everything that PlayStation does, or I constantly shiz all over PlayStation's games, which I did for a minute there on Final Fantasy VII, but I've been pretty open that I just don't really. I've tried to play the Final Fantasy VII games, but yeah, I don't. But I don't blame people for thinking Colt's a big Xbox content creator, so of course he hates PlayStation. But don't insult me. And I'm not trying to sell it to you, but we could have a pretty good discussion. And it's so weird that people like, I don't want to hear Reforge's voice, or I don't want to hear Crap Gamer's voice on the show. Like, I couldn't tolerate it. It would make my skin crawl. And people say the same thing about me. I go on someone's show, they're like, oh crap, Colt's here, I'm out. You know, and I get that, but
they do that.
I'm not trying to sell it to you, but
there
would be a good discussion. It really would be, and I'm not trying to sell it. I'm just like saying.
I said, I've done shows with all those guys, even not the Jez Corden, the other Jez. You know, the other Jez, the PlayStation Jez. I've done shows with him.
Grinding Gears. Not
Grinding Gears.
Isn't that
Gaming Grindhouse. No, Gaming Grindhouse. That's it.
Well, he used to go by Grinding Gears, back in the day.
Right. And so the thing is, like, I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. And it's like everybody has their own thoughts and opinions and whatever else. I kind of skate between the lines of, listen, I'm a consumer. I don't really care. But the thing is, if, you know, people have their opinions and thoughts, it's fine. Like, for example, even with Crap, we talk about, you know, he's a console purist. He's not a PC player. Either am I. But I'm not opposed to like his thoughts are, he's more opposed to the fact that they have taken away focus on the console, and now they're just kind of moving on to PC and PlayStation and sort of leaving the console players in the dust. He's not exactly wrong, but if you don't entirely agree, that's totally okay too. Like, I don't get what the hell the big deal is.
Just be careful about how you say it, for sure.
Well, I mean, even if like you say it, like, listen, we talked for 2 hours. And people clip, well, they used to clip us all the time, or I go on like Crossfire and I say something and they clip us. You're talking for 2 hours. You're not getting the context of what we're talking about in a 30-second clip. You get a 30-second clip, you're not hearing what I said 10 minutes before and 10 minutes after that round out the thought. And they're like, oh, he's being a this now, and he's being a that now. And I'm like, you guys are a-holes. And like, for example, like, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, I don't listen to those people. They're just a waste of my time and a waste of everybody's time. I do Xbox shows. Not all of them. I've done a couple of Xbox shows, like really hardcore Xbox guys, and people will leave the chat because I showed up, because I made them cry a year and a half ago when I said games are going to PlayStation. And they're still mad at me now.
Or when you said you play Indy Jones on your PS5 Pro. No.
Yeah, they're still mad at me for saying what actually effing happened. And they will actively leave the chat because I showed up on the show.
Yeah.
They're like, Magus here, I'm out. Or they're probably just being a bunch of pussies and just saying they're leaving because they're looking for attention. And then they're probably still sitting there listening to the show. They're just not typing. But whatever. Anyways, I've seen that happen to me. I see it happen to other people. And I think it's ridiculous. And one day, when I do open my membership, when I do open the members on my channel or whatever, and I start doing members only streams or whatever, I'm going to have everybody on the damn show. And not all at once, but you know what I'm saying? Like, have hardcore PlayStation guys, hardcore Xbox guys, hardcore Nintendo dudes, and talk to them and say, all right, tell me your thoughts, tell me your opinions. Why do you feel this way? What's going on? Whatever. And then have rebuttals or don't have rebuttals and say, yeah, cool, man, whatever. That's your opinion. That's awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying it, and that's your passion, and that's what you want to do. Who cares?
Yep.
I think crap would be hilarious. I think he's a hilarious guy, man. And he's actually a super nice guy in the real world off of YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, not all in that discussion.
I know as a fact.
There are a few people that completely hate me and are really, really horrible.
Well,
like they really are.
I tried to like you, Colt. I really tried to like you, Colt, but I'm so.
He's one of them. Wait, he's right over here.
Oh my lord!
No.
Yeah, there are some people who are just insane with you.
There he is. Yeah, they're insane.
I'm there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Whatever. I want to talk to you about this Asus handheld that got leaked.
Yes.
The most disgusting, greasy Cheetos and peanut butter covered grease ball of a handheld. It's kind of funky looking, and I took some time today. And for today's thumbnail, I took the Asus ROG Ally and made it look like that, so it was a little nicer. But apparently, this thing's ready to be revealed sometime this summer or come out this fall, but it's not the handheld you're looking for. I feel like we talked about this a lot. Is there any new information? We have some specs, but they don't really mean anything to me.
These aren't the handhelds you're looking for.
let me grab the specs for you,
handhelds we're looking for.
You may let us go through. Yeah.
Move along.
Of course, Magnum, eh? Yeah, you can't miss a beat, eh? I leave whenever Mag shows up. Of course, Magnum does. But you know what? Magnum has been here for an hour and 40. Magnum's been here for an hour and 42 minutes. Maverick, I played Indiana Jones on Game Pass day one.
Yeah, he did.
That was the problem. But I ended up, not buying it for the PlayStation 5 because once I played it, I'm like, I'm not going to play it again for $70.
Yeah, you said that here. You started it on Xbox on Game Pass, and you're like, I'm not waiting. This ROG Ally 2, they're calling it, which is like an Xbox PC handheld. 64 gigs of RAM. That's insane. That's like what my PC has. 7-inch display.
Whoa.
What's that?
Can you rewind that?
Yeah.
64 gigs of RAM in a handheld?
That's what it says. And I said that in my video last week. And I'm like,
come on.
64 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM, which is like, well,
I have no idea what that means.
That's like $100 in RAM. That's not, I don't know. Let me see what the Extreme ROG Ally RAM has in it.
Wouldn't like the thing like melt?
Oh yeah, that's not right. That's not right at all. The ROG Ally XS has, but that's right off the freaking leak from the FTCC or whatever it was. I said that wrong.
All right.
24 gigs of RAM in the last ROG Ally X. There's no way it's 6. No. I copied and pasted directly.
You would turn it on, and it would melt the skin off your hands.
Yeah, that's not right.
There's no way it would be able to. A handheld can't do that.
It's got a 4-core Z2 Extreme 36-watt SoC, like a Ryzen SoC, which is combined with a CPU and a GPU. So I don't know. This thing is it's pretty cool, but it's probably going to be $700 plus, and it can't play all your console games.
Well, that
do you
doesn't
guys
make
have any
much sense
questions
now,
about
does
this thing?
Well, I could tell you someone in the chat here. Who is it? I just saw it a second ago. Damn it. Oh, Colin Prime is saying, he goes, Alex is saying it's 32, not 64. So,
Yeah, I mean,
he's a specs guy. He's a tech guy. He's a he's a PC guy. So he would know.
I mean, I have it copy and
that one.
pasted directly from the leak with the actual stupid blue boxes. And I'm looking at that like, how in the world did I read that into my camera the other day and not realize there's no way a handheld has 64 gigs of RAM. Actually, 32 even sounds kind of overkill. But
for a handheld, yes.
KY
but
Bob,
you touched on something important. Sorry, go ahead.
You better get it before we forget.
Okay, no, I was going to say, you touched on something very important, and you said it doesn't play all your console games.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't.
So explain that to anybody like who doesn't.
It's a
like,
PC
what,
handheld.
What is happening?
So the only console games that will play are any of the selection of 100 plus Play Anywhere games that you have on console. Other than that, anything that's on Game Pass that has cross-play and cross-progression, which most of those do. But outside of that, if you load up Dying Light 2, because you own it on Xbox, you're not going to be able to play it on this ROG Ally because it has to have the PC version, which you'd have to own. So this is just a bridge gap because Xbox's customers right now are kind of half and half. Half of them are on console. There's like half of them on Xbox One consoles and Xbox Series consoles, and the other half are on PCs and handhelds. And then there's like a chunk of them on cloud, but I think they're probably playing on both. A mixture of those. So them making a PC handheld isn't that far-fetched because they do have customers that are not on console at all, but they're totally ingrained in the ecosystem. Like Mag said earlier, they may have moved up to PC, or PC has been their easier point of access entry with $10 a month for Game Pass, or they just like PC. So this is a viable option. It's not the fix-all. And Xbox's fix-all would be their actual native console handheld that is coming out in 2027. So there isn't a lot to say other than we got to see it, and somebody snuck those pictures on a design desk after they had been eating hot wings or something. It was so gross looking. But I want to read KY Bob's
what's
super
the
chat.
point of this? Why wouldn't you just get a Steam Deck or like a ROG Ally? Like they're already out there now and probably significantly cheaper. Maybe not. Maybe don't have the specs. But isn't a Steam Deck 2 coming out at some point? I heard rumblings of that.
I don't know if it is, but the point of this is that there are people that play on handhelds, and this is just the point of it would be Xbox and Asus came together and saved each other money on a venture to make a handheld. We'll help you. We'll sponsor this. Asus is like, we'll make it, and we'll meet in the middle, and we'll both pull in a sizable profit margin because the handhelds only sell to like a few million people. The Steam Deck has reached like 5 million customers. The ROG Ally has reached a couple million customers. Those are numbers I'm just guessing based off of things I've read before.
Yeah, so, we went through these numbers before. Yeah.
And it just
on a preview.
Like you're not going to build Asus is not going to build a PC handheld and say we're going to dominate the market and sell more than Nintendo Switch. It's just like we price this thing to make money, and if you buy it, great. Thanks for buying it. Cool, because we'll make $3 on it, and when we're good for it. And everybody else like makes money off of their games. KY Bob, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Says, if you buy the Asus Xbox handheld that we know will not play our console games, that feature is coming with the first party handheld. Would that be a software solution that you could add to the Asus Xbox One? Yes, KY Bob, it is. And that's a really good question. If Meg and my information that we hear from people who think they know what's going on, because I'm not an insider, if you decided to buy this Asus ROG Ally at the end of 2025, in 2027, it's very possible that you could download the latest Xbox Experience dashboard and you would have full access because Phil Spencer's trying to get full compatibility. The backward compatibility team is ramping up. They want you to be able to play all the games you own that are currently available right now on series consoles. Their plan is to get that available across PC, handhelds, cloud, smart TVs, etc. That would be the most game-changing thing in the industry, where for the first time, Xbox says, Remember all those games you bought for decades? They're coming with you, hell or high water. Now, there are games that'll never come to you, like Saboteur, or most of the Xbox 360 and Xbox One library is not available. But what Xbox has done is built up 500 to 600 games that are back compat across the 360 and the Xbox One generation, and then the 4,000 to 5,000 games that are available on Xbox Series consoles. All of those games would be moving forward into next generation. So if you're an Xbox customer, let's pretend and say Mag bought every game that you could play right now. Mag would bring 6,000 games into next generation if he stayed in the Xbox platform. And I'm tired after saying all that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that explained everything right there. I don't need to add anything to what you just said.
Okay.
So you've explained it all in detail.
Boner Jam says, sorry. Go ahead.
Magbot. Sorry. Yeah.
Magbot. Boner Jam says he searches the $10 super. Yeah. What's that?
No, I was going to say Boner Jams, yeah.
Boner Jams, yeah. Boner Jams, the best. The beautiful Boner Jams. Looking to play that new hotness, appointing the Pontiff. Pontiff? Is that how you say it? Pontiff?
What?
Pontiff?
The Pontiff? As in the Pope?
Oh! Hey, let me go get my Starfield thing and make a big embarrassing fool out of myself. Remember that? He says, basically, it's old men discussing their prune juice consumption, sports their grandchildren play, and picking a new pope. So fun.
Oh, my God.
Leave it to Boner Jams to write something that has absolutely nothing to do with anything, but it makes us laugh.
I love it. I love it. Oh, appointing the new pontiff. I see. I finally got it. Basically, just old men discussing prune juice consumption. Yeah, I get you. I got you there, Boner Jams. Don't worry.
Yep.
We're all old together, man. We're all going to get old together. Let's do it.
And we're good at it, too.
And we're damn good at getting old. Yeah, real good at it.
I've got a fun one for you, Mag. Are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. The FTC finally lost their appeal against the Xbox ABK merger, which means they can no longer chase after Xbox to shut down that merger. My question I'm going to pontiff to you, did I use that correctly?
No.
Is what would happen, Mag, and you have the floor. What would happen if the FTC won this appeal? What would happen right now? Because it just closed. What would happen if they won and Xbox can't have ABK?
Well, then they would just have to revoke everything that they've done thus far with Game Pass. As in terms of like developing like the future games and stuff like that, Activision would continue to do so, but it would fall under their category instead. So I think that's why. It's just a thought, but it would make absolute sense to me that when you acquire all these things like Bethesda and Activision and whatever else, and well, not Bethesda, ZeniMax, and what you would do is that you keep them operating on their own, like their own divisions. So what happens is if anything were to fall through or not go through, or else they lose a case, as like you were just saying, they won the case, but like let's say if they lost, it would be no harm, no foul. All they would do is the company would still operate as they are operating now. The only thing is that they would pull their own people back out. And then, of course, they just remove the games off the service. That's it. Other than that, all the Activision games would continue to come to Xbox as a third-party title. They would not come to Game Pass, which thus far, they've only been giving really Call of Duty and the occasional Tony Hawk.
Right.
And then, of course, you know what I mean? Other than that, Activision hasn't been doing a whole lot. Remember when everybody was screaming and bellowing, saying, "We're games from the developers," and we didn't get anything?
Yeah.
And people are like, now it's like halfway through 2025 and everybody's like, remember when to do the Chris Farley thing from like the 90s? remember when you said you were going to bring all the Activision games over? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was awesome.
That was awesome. Yeah.
That was awesome. And then they didn't do it. And so they haven't done it even till now. They're like, what did they threw a dusty old bone the other day. Here's Modern Warfare 2, you peasants. And they threw Modern Warfare 2 into Game Pass, like, was it 2 weeks ago? Something like that. I'm like, thanks, bro. I played it 17 times already.
It's almost like Activision is being really stingy about being involved in the Game Pass.
Well,
circuit.
maybe this FTC thing was part of that, or they're just being douchebags.
Let me ask you.
One of the two. It could be either way. Yes.
Let me ask you.
Ask away. Yeah.
Would Xbox survive if they had to pay $3 billion and turn away ABK because the regulators wouldn't allow them to acquire them? Would Xbox be able to survive without ABK?
Yeah. But well, like revenue wise, they get a lot of money from ABK.
They do.
Because you got to remember, it's not Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty's part of it, but I mean, you're talking like the mobile stuff. That's where they make a fortune on, right? Like the Candy Crushes and things like that. Like
And
when Satya
on mobile,
yeah, and Warzone. That's right. And then the Call of Duty mobile is actually outperforming Call of Duty console and PC combined, because more people have access to it, right? Especially if you go to, if you have areas of the world where they do not have access to the kind of hardware that we are so lucky to have. They're playing they're playing mobile. Now that being the case, if you look at when Satya came out and he was like, "Yeah, we have 250 million active players," I'm like, yeah,
500 million, I think it was, yeah.
Or whatever it was, 500 million. I'm like, yeah, hi, me in the front, 460 million of them was soccer moms playing Candy Crush on the toilet.
It was like, yeah, 200 million of those were Candy Crush, but Xbox was still beating PlayStation without Candy Crush. Not that it matters though, but monthly active users,
that's a huge revenue stream to leave.
Yeah,
that's a huge revenue stream to leave behind, right? So like if they were to shut that down, or not shut that down, they would have to like separate from that. That's a big problem, right? Yeah. Because when you're subsidizing something like Game Pass, yes, it's making money, but if you're subsidizing, let's say it's not sustainable enough with all the big AAA games coming in or whatever, you're able to subsidize it by utilizing profits from other divisions, and they help supply that. Like I've said it a million times before, when you look like at a movie studio, all right, and you get like, I don't know, we'll make it up, a Transformers movie, okay? A Transformers movie on average makes about $700 million to $1 billion. What that does is that it doesn't fund the next Transformers movie. What that does is that funds all the other projects that the studio's releasing for that entire year. So they take that 700, well, they don't take all of it because they still have to pay back what they had utilized. And then the profits made on top of that, they release 5 horror films, a couple of romantic comedies, and those movies make money too. Like, if you have a movie with a $3 million budget, makes $10 million, you made your money back and you made a profit. And so those big movies do that. They supply all that. The Call of Duties is not just supplying Activision at this point, or the Candy Crushes. What that does is that funds projects like Banjo-Kazooie. All right, let's say you want to make Banjo-Kazooie. Oh, it's coming out. Okay, well, where are we going to get $60 million from? Where are we going to get $60 million from? Well, we'll take some of that profit from Call of Duty, move it over there, give it to Toys for Bob or whatever. I'm just making up stuff and I'm going along here. And then utilize that to fund the next game. Sony does the exact same thing. They get a big game that makes about 15 million, sells about 50 million copies. That supplies their other games, whatever. So they could swallow a loss like Concord. They don't like it, but it's able to happen because of that. Right? You lose that with Activision, it'd be a massive problem. However, they would just have to restructure. They wouldn't die. They would just restructure, and they would just change their service, the way that they operate, and then what actually goes in there, what doesn't go in there, and they would have to start money hatting again. Right? Because you would lose a lot of studios by losing ABK. So, but anyways, it's something that we don't have to think about or worry about because it didn't happen. I don't even know why they kept going after him. I mean, like, it's been basically a done deal for what, a year and a half now? Well, like, who cares at this point?
I would say I don't know why they went after him as well, but Xbox said under oath in the courts that they wouldn't raise prices while they have a strong market position or a quote unquote monopoly. And Xbox absolutely has raised prices of Game Pass.
And they will again.
They've raised prices of games and hardware, and using that position of power to, and Xbox does have a position of power. They are providing the majority of the games in 2025 across all other platforms or publishers. Most games are coming from Xbox this year, with 10 to 12 games coming from their platform. And they're able to say, look, we're dominating the market. We're putting out the most games, and they have a revenue shortfall to make up for, but they're starting to do that. Colon premises, but they don't have a monopoly. I know, like the quote unquote monopoly. They don't.
Yeah, no, we know.
Not even Tencent or what was the other name? The other one, whatever. The other big publishers don't really have a monopoly. It's just. And if Game Pass was bigger, maybe you could argue that they have a monopoly, and they don't have a cloud monopoly. So Xbox is just trying to survive. Some people would say that if Xbox didn't have ABK, that they would not be able to survive because their numbers would be down and they'd be down further and further. But they also spent $80 billion. Yeah.
They would just have to restructure. Yeah.
Malik says Satya said they're not done buying. And I remember Satya say, I don't know when he said that recently, but I just cannot imagine Xbox buying another studio or another publishing arm when they can barely like keep their head above water with how many games they're putting out right now. So I don't know. I guess let us know what you guys think in the chat if they are going to survive regardless. I think things are going to start.
They'll survive. They just restructure. That's all. But the thing is that I don't see any point in buying more. I see a lot of people saying, what are they going to buy next? What are they going to buy next? And I'm like, what is the end game here, guys? This isn't this isn't a pack of locusts. They're not going town to town and like eating up everything that belongs and go there and then leave nothing but bare bones and then move on to the next town. It's not going to happen. And at some point, there will be interference. Not interference. There will be roadblocks from the government saying enough is enough. I would have a distinct feeling that if even on a theoretical level, if Microsoft were to try and acquire anybody else, they would be absolutely denied because then they're like, no.
Even though they're fully multi-platform, because that trial had nothing to do with exclusivity. Purple Haze, thank you so much for the $5 super. Says, do we believe that Steam will launch with the new Xbox? What do you guys think, and why could it help Xbox sales next generation? It won't help Xbox sales. I believe that Steam will be available or integrated into the Xbox platform. It will just make it easier for everybody to buy games. And Xbox putting Steam on their console or their PC build makes the games industry more ubiquitous and more accessible, and it's good for everyone. So they'd be doing a solid for an already really successful platform, but it would just make it more advantageous to look at Xbox and say, look, all of my stuff is available. I can buy whatever I want. I can play whatever I want. Sure, go buy or build your own PC. Or buy Xbox's hardware if you want, because it looks like something you want. And there will be 15 million people or whatever that will buy that console. But I think Steam has nothing to do with what can it do for Xbox. It's what can you... Colin already said this. Like, right, why would you do this? Stop thinking about the industry. Stop thinking about these corporations. Think about what it will do for you. You are a consumer and a gaming customer. If you want to know if something is good for your wallet, it's good for your economy and how you own your games and play them. If Xbox says to you, every game you bought on Steam, you can access that directly there without having to go outside. That is good for you. Stop worrying about these corporations. They're making plenty of money. They're making it hand over fist. They're hiking prices. Unless you think there's some like evil reason why
they don't like you. They don't care about you.
Yeah.
They just want your money. I don't give a shiz what anybody says. Microsoft does not care about who you are. They don't care what you say on Twitter. They don't talk about it. In fact, I've even spoken to some executives at Microsoft that said they were completely indifferent with people's feelings about the price hikes of the hardware. Because I said, oh man, you guys must be a little bit worried about that. Is it actually they're completely indifferent? They don't care that you're mad about it. That came from the head office. They don't care.
I'll tell you what.
Doesn't matter who it is, Meta, Sony, Amazon, whatever. They don't care about you. So you take care of yourself. That's all that matters. You're a consumer. Take care of yourself and what makes you happy. And then if that corporation, sorry, I didn't mean to, I know you were trying to say something. You give them your money based on your happiness, not otherwise. You don't support them. They don't need you. They really don't, because they will have someone replace you in 4.3 milliseconds. If you decide to boycott or whatever. Take care of yourself, buy your own stuff, do whatever you got to do, subscribe to the services, take advantage of whatever they're offering. That's all there is to it. Nothing is beholden to you that you have to be so like, I got to defend them to the death. There's no need for it. There is no need for it. Just be a goddamn consumer and have a good time.
Yeah, well said, because I can tell you that my best guesstimation of what happened when Xbox hiked the price of the consoles via the tariffs is that they sat down and said, we don't care. We're Xbox.
They don't.
I'm tired of you losing money. on your consoles. I'm tired of you losing all this money in Europe or overseas. Enough's enough. We have an excuse now. Jack the price up to $700. I don't care. No, if nobody buys the console, the people that actually do, we're going to make money off of them. Enough's enough. And they would never say that publicly, but I'm pretty sure that's how it went down. That it was just like, stop losing money on the console. And I think that's what happened. So think about you as a customer. Do not buy an Xbox at $700. Really start to think about if you should buy something better. Like maybe go buy a digital PS5 because it's cheaper than a Series S because of what they did. If you have not picked a console by now, you definitely need to speak with your wallet, or go buy a PC, go buy a pre-build, or go be crazy and build one yourself and lose your mind. But anyway, enjoy it either way. Let's see.
Enjoy it. And you know the thing with right on cue, you have two people in the chat already. I won't even say their names already, saying that like they're mad about what I said. They don't care about you, Malik.
I said the same thing. I said the same thing you did. They don't care.
Whatever the hell your name is. They don't care about you. Take care of yourselves. Don't be an idiot. God damn it.
You have to be really careful, especially with this economy of how they're charging for games. Like, it wasn't a topic, but Borderlands said, our game's $80. Yep. And I'm like, crap, I want to play that, so I'm going to pay $80.
Yeah.
Ask for better. You know, if you don't think Borderlands
don't even ask for
day one at 80, do not buy it.
Dude, hold the you don't have to ask anybody. They're not listening to you anyway.
Yeah.
You know what they listen to? Metrics. I've said this on another show. I was on the show with Direct Gaming a couple days ago. I wasn't even supposed to be on. I was just listening to the show casually, and then I'm like, dude, tag me, and I had something to say. So we were talking for a little while. I ended up being on the show for over an hour. And I said something. I said, they not just Microsoft, corporations in general, they follow metrics. They don't follow anything else. They don't listen to what you say on Twitter. They're not like, oh man, Malik on Twitter is so angry right now at us. I better go tell Phil. They don't care. What they care about are the metrics. And if that metrics, so you're part of that metrics or you're not, that's how it works. So if you decide $80 is too much for a game, and let's just say for argument's sake, Borderlands sells 35% less than Borderlands 3 did because of the price, I'm just saying.
Yep.
Then guess what? That's what they're looking at. They're not listening to Colteastwood. They're not listening to Meg. They're not listening to Biff Rinaldi. They're not listening to Maverick. They're not listening to Randall Thor. Sorry, Biff Rinaldi. I just pulled your name out of a hat because I saw it in the chat. They don't care. And all they care about are the metrics. So you become part of the metrics. So you have to take care of yourself. And if you decide that $80 is too much, then you sit back, do what I told you a million times before. You sit back, wait till Black Friday, and buy it for 50% off. Yeah. And that's all there is to it. You are the consumer. You're in charge of your own money. You do not have to go and wave the flag and go running into the battlefield for Xbox because they're not backing you up. Sony's not backing you up either. Nintendo definitely is not backing you up. Back yourself up. It's your money, your hard-earned money.
And shout out to Ultraman in the chat who leaves a 5 and says, that's what I've been saying. Microsoft has raised its price multiple times when they said they wouldn't. What's up, guys? We appreciate you, Ultraman. Yeah, we're not mad. Like, just
you're not mad.
You just have to be a little more picky right now. And
Colteastwood, how much did you spend for Star Wars Outlaws?
$35. It
35.
was on sale on Ubisoft.
Yeah. So you got it for You got it for 50% off. A fantastic game for 50% off. You didn't even have to wait a whole year. Not even a whole year, and the game. I mean, it
was 35 earlier too. It was 35 a couple different times. So,
yes, it was.
We appreciate you guys' support. We really do, and we're watching out for you. Like make good, smart decisions because gaming is such an impulsive hobby. Like everyone's playing a game, everyone's talking. You want to jump in, and now it's just getting really pricey to jump in and join. To get out of the FOMO, boundaries.
Dude, you can't make an impulse purchase at $108 Canadian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Tough. Or $129.99 for a new game that's
like Doom the Dark Ages right American. Now. I don't even know how much Doom the Dark Ages they have it. Like you could play it tonight if you pay for early access. If you're on Game Pass, it's just an extra $30. So if you just join Game Pass for $50, you get early access to one of the coolest games of the year. Which is a good deal, but if you want to buy it outright, It's probably like $80 in the US or $90. You know, whatever.
Did you say Borderlands 4 is 80?
Yeah, it's been confirmed at this point.
In Ontario, where I'm from, Borderlands 4 is now $128.58 with tax.
Bro.
So, and I know some people that are listening to the show from Australia. They say the same thing. They're actually paying even more, and the dollar just keeps dying. Our dollars are dying. I don't know what's going on with the Australian dollar, but $128.58 for a single game really makes you sit back and think, doesn't it? It really makes that impulse a lot harder to do, where you can't just sit there and go, hell with it, I'm buying this. $128.58 is a lot of money. I don't care how much money you make in the real world. That's still a lot of money to just drop on a whim. You know what I'm saying?
And next generation, the console baseline price is going to be over all of our comfort zone, right?
Absolutely.
Like when you're in the US, when you're talking baseline is going to be $600 or $700, and then games are going to be $80. Like we're kind of screwed there. It's like you're starting off next generation, so the handhelds are going to be $700, the consoles are going to be $700, and a PC is going to be $1,200, and the games are going to be $80. So we're just saying, you guys already know. Dylan Kurtek,
they already know our chat's good. Our chat's great.
We're just saying it for that for that Billy that's watching. Going, what should I do? Well, we appreciate you guys so much. Letting us,
man, you guys are the
two
best.
old men. We're like the two old guys up in the balcony and on Muppets. Dylan Kurtek, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Says, you know what looks cool? The Backbone Pro. Yes, Backbone Pro messaged me and said they're sending me a Backbone Pro.
No way. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
So we'll see. I'll check it out. BT Maverick, thank you so much for the $5 super. Says,
Maverick,
it's the software side that makes it interesting. Windows is very clunky on a PC handheld. And unlike the Steam Deck, point is for Xbox to streamline the OS. Yes, if Xbox just puts their new dashboard on there, it'll be freaking awesome. I love the Xbox dashboard. I love the PlayStation dashboard. I just wish PC had a dashboard. There are, but I just wish there was the dashboard. Like, hey, you're on Windows?
Yeah.
Bang, here's your gaming experience.
What you're familiar with.
Because I'm playing on PC a lot. Like I was playing Doom on PC, and I want to go to
Trader.
I want to go to something. Yeah. I want to go to like Spotify. I can't do that with my controller. I cannot go to Spotify. I have to reach over to my mouse and go. So
yeah.
One last one. Purple Haze, thank you for the 5, says, besides Nintendo, if you had to choose between PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, what would be the best, most affordable? And if you choose PC, can you truly get everything you want? Okay, no. If you get PC, you do not truly get everything you want. You can emulate a lot of stuff, but for the most part, games 15 to 20 years old, right now, games that are in middle to early Xbox 360, PS3 era are just not available. Not available digitally. I mean, there are, but there's going to be a ton of games that you may have remembered that just are not, unless you buy them on DVD-ROM on eBay. Like it's not as ubiquitous now as it used to be as it is now. But no. But Meg, what would you choose between PlayStation, Xbox, or PC? What would be your most affordable choice?
Right now, affordable wise?
Yeah.
The PlayStation is the cheapest option, believe it or not.
Do you think they're going to jack that price up, or they're going to ride it
out?
We talked about this last week.
You know what? I think they're going to ride. Listen, I might be wrong, but I think that the prudent thing would be to ride it out and just dominate hardware sales. And it's not about selling plastic. It's about people getting onto the PlayStation Store, as I mentioned a million times before. The console is just an avenue to get you to the store. So when everybody's like, oh, it's just plastic, who cares? And I'm like, well, actually, you guys are missing the point. The point is it's trying to get you into the store so that you buy all your stuff there. So if you're a Call of Duty player, or if you're a Fortnite player and that's all you're doing on there, like my son plays Fortnite. I mean, that's not all he plays, but he plays a lot of Fortnite on his console, on his PS5. Well, every time he wants to buy a skin, Sony gets money from that. So that's why they want you on their console, because they get all that the profit and dividends from being on the store. So I would say that at that point, the most prudent thing would be to continue to stay at the same price, because you remember when Xbox released the price hikes, that when they did the advertisement and they said these are the prices or whatever. Literally 17 minutes later, without I think it was Wario64 did it on Twitter, showed it on Twitter. 17 minutes after Xbox announced the price hikes, Sony announced a $450 Game of the Year Astrobot edition of PS5.
Oh, I know.
And that was, and it was 17 minutes after Microsoft gave the price hikes, so it was actually cheaper than the Series S. So
freaking stepping on rakes, bro.
Or listen, how about this? Then you know what you do? As I was bitching about 10 minutes ago, not bitching, I was bitching to people about 10 minutes ago about something. Go to Facebook Marketplace. Go to secondhand sales. Go to GameStop. Go to whatever. If you want an Xbox, if your friends are there on Xbox, let's say, okay, you can go buy a console for $200 on Facebook Marketplace. You might get stabbed in the parking lot of a donut shop, but you still might get your $200 console. Right? Because it might be a trap. Or you go to GameStop, they have refurbished ones sitting there for $300. You could do that. The options are there as a consumer, but you got to be a consumer, man. You got to think with your noodle. Like, if you can't afford it,
and your other
like, oh man, I want this. Yeah, well, that's only sometimes. But the thing is, if you want something, then you have to look at what you can afford, how you can afford to do it, and then move on from there. So it's really a moot question when you think about it, because there's the opportunities are endless.
Yeah. Gaming Lifestyle says big games like Black Myth Wukong skip Xbox due to Xbox Series S architecture. No, due to PlayStation. PlayStation paid for that, and they are still working on they were working on the console versions, and they were not ready, and PlayStation said, let's go, and paid for the development time on the PlayStation platform. And Xbox sat there and did nothing and let PlayStation get consideration with their wallet. So that's why Black Myth Wukong is not on Xbox console. Not because of architecture, because the tech experts have already proven that the Series S would run Black Myth Wukong just fine. So yeah,
it was a smart move.
That's a big difference.
Because they sold millions of PS5s in China as a result of that one game.
Yep.
And what does that do? That opens up to millions more people, millions of more eyeballs looking at your PlayStation Store now. And I mean, I know the regulations in China are different, but
Yeah, they are. But Xbox's biggest problem is they have no proactivity. They just sit there and go, what happened? What game aren't we getting?
They're looking at metrics. They're not paying attention to the you know what I mean? The little gunfights that are happening down below, they're not paying attention to that, but those little gunfights are what win wars.
There's like 3,000 people on Twitter that people actually, I don't even know if they even listen to them, but yeah, I don't know. That's it. That's been a great show, and
it has been a great show.
Yeah, thank you so much. We went a little bit over, but we've got a lot to do this week, and can't wait to get into it, dive into the showcase stuff. I've got a lot of work to do, and then back to games. So, Meg, tell everybody where they can sub to you, and everything else like that. We'll get out of here.
Well, you can find me, folks. The Mag Show. I'm sure the link will be in the chat. Of course, it's actually in the description of the show. Every single sub is appreciated. You can follow me on Xbox and PlayStation under I Am The Mag, all capital words, all one letter. And of course, you can find me on Twitter as well. Farting around over there doing a thing. Sorry, Toxic Buttwind, but sometimes I like to fart around too. Anyways. That's where you can find me. I'm going to be doing all kinds of content. I think I released like 5 videos last week. I do shorter videos, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Just get the information out there. Keep it moving. I did my marinated review for Split Fiction last week. A lot of people are really liking it. I didn't get big views on it, but the people that did watch it really enjoyed and really appreciated what I do, and they really like the idea of this marinated review thing that I do. And I will continue to do that. That's going to be one of the flagship themes on my channel outside of, giving news and thoughts and opinions. So that's where you can find me, The Mag Show. I'll be there pretty much almost every day or every second day. You'll find content on there, and my thumbnails are hilarious. So like, what the hell you want? Come on, man, help me out.
Yeah, they are. They are. You put your face on the characters and stuff. I love that stuff.
Well, I did that with Nico Bellic today. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I did.
It was funny. I put my face on Nico Bellic today when I did the Grand Theft Auto 4 thing.
Yeah, but, for the first time, Nico Bellic looked like a fairy, but it was great.
Chat, I just want to say, chat, by the way, you guys are all amazing. Even Malik and Tony Hawk, whatever his name was in there. I'm just
Bobby
busting
Hawk.
your balls, eh? Yeah.
Just
I'm
busting, your
your
balls. Yeah.
Like that's what we do over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all fun and games. We're all just having a good time. But either way, still, be smart with your shopping, okay? Don't be foolish. But anyways, that's all I got.
We appreciate you guys. Keep an eye on my channel for new content and kind of trying to figure out what to do with some of the changes and stuff. But a lot of stuff to make. So we appreciate you. Also, remember, where is it? If I go back to this, I have it's up here. The Doom, the Dark Ages coin by Xbox Fan Art. If you're still watching now, if you just wait a couple of minutes, you can be the first to leave a comment on the regular, not the live chat, but the regular comment section. Leave a comment about the Doom Dark Ages coin. Write something to catch my eye, and I'm going to pick 5 winners for that coin, and that will be shipped directly to you when you're selected. Keep an eye out for that for me to reply to you. And other than that, thanks for everything. Meg, I'll see you next week.
Yeah, man.
And as I always say, be nice, you filthy animals.
That's right.
Bye,
be nice. Have a good one, guys.
See ya.